Greetings, pro wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us at the Pro Wrestling LookBack. Today's episode is going to be a WrestleMania 34 react. I myself, Nick, am sitting here with
Whiskey Don. Yeah, it's got to switch it up every time, guys. It's me, Donovan, Donovan.
All right, man. WrestleMania 34.
What a show.
Yeah, I think me and you were, it's just going to be the two of us tonight, if you guys can't tell, but I think me and you were kind of more on the positive end.
Yeah, for sure.
Of
I enjoyed
the
it.
Pro Wrestling LookBack group for this show. I don't know where to start. I think maybe just kind of give our own personal kind of score on a scale of 1 to 10, what we thought of the show, maybe?
Yes. You know what? If I'm going to rate it out of 10, I may want to do that after we go through the card. Right now, I'm going to say
Well, why don't you give me a rating now, and then we'll talk about it for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, and
I'll give it let's
see
say,
where we go.
Let's
See where you're at after that.
6.5 out of 10.
6.5.
Yeah.
That's honestly kind of where I would put it too. I guess 6.5 would be a 20-point scale technically,
Yeah.
but I'll go the same. Maybe a 7. I'll give it a 7,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about it, and we'll come back to this at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I will go through a quick highs and lows before we break everything down. I think obviously for most people, not just myself, the highs was definitely the Ronda Rousey debut and that match, and not only the excitement in the match itself, but the overdoing it, I can't help me here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a bit of a surprise to some people to see how well
exactly. That's
Ronda
kind of what I was
did.
getting at.
Yeah. I think this match was one of my personal favorites, I gotta say. And I think even the crowd seemed like super into this match.
Yeah,
Some matches, we kind of seen the highs and lows throughout the night.
for sure.
But I think this match really sucked the crowd in, and they seemed to be really invested in it. So, I mean, that speaks volumes.
That's
to it,
definitely
too.
a high. Yeah. Any lows that stick out for you?
Of that match?
No,
Or
just
of the show
before
in
we
general?
dive into match specifics, like go match by match. I just figured we'll get a high and a low from each of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the 2 tag title matches from both shows, I want to touch on is like maybe a lower point for me, just because I feel like with all this stuff throughout the year with the Usos and the New Day and the Usos being one of the best teams around, just to kind of get squashed out. I'm not to say like I totally was looking at the Bludgeon Brothers to win. But it was just, I don't know. I wanted something, like I said on our pre-show, I kind of wanted something a little different. Maybe a stipulation, a ladder match or something.
Okay,
for
yeah.
these guys who could work at this level.
So 2 tag matches. I mean, we have the Ronda tag match, and the tag team title match is kind of a high and a low to
Yeah.
pick. I'd agree there.
And also the Raw tag match. Like, I wasn't just saying specifically SmackDown, the
Yeah.
Raw tag match as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, I thought, like, Sheamus and Cesaro and Braun as well, guys who have been putting in great work all year, and, like, this, to have it culminate to this, like,
Mm-hmm. Overall, the weekend was good. I mean, Takeover show was pretty awesome. I know you haven't had a chance to watch it all.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it all yet.
But that was a really good show, and I haven't had a chance to watch the Ring of Honor. I know you saw some of that, and that was really good as well. So, not only WrestleMania, but it was just a good weekend in wrestling.
Yes, for sure.
Altogether. But I guess we can dive right in. I don't know where you want to start. You want to start with the Battle Royals, or you want to go into your theories and
The Cruiserweight.
Nostradamus?
Yeah, no, we'll go to the Battle Royals first. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the opener of the show was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We had Matt Hardy winning with the help of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Final members in there, I think, was Baron Corbin and Mojo, who were kind of ganging up on him, being the previous WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 33,
Yeah.
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winners. I'm okay with this. I thought it was really cool. I mean, I can't think of many other guys that were in the match that could have won and would have made sense.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I like Bray returning, and I think he should have had different, not just gear, but I think he should have been a little bit different. Maybe not the same guy
Yeah.
he was when he got thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, give me your thoughts.
I like them going with Matt. I mean, ultimately, when it came down to the last few guys there, I was getting a little worried, and I did maybe think they were going to go with the direction of like a Baron Corbin winning it again or Mojo, but
Back-to-back type scenarios?
yeah, which I didn't want to see at all.
No, I don't think anybody did wanted to see that.
I wanted someone new and I was looking at throughout the match. I was looking at the guys in it. And I was kind of thinking like, who I thought maybe could have won. And I remember at one point I said Dolph. I said like Chad Gable. Even there wasn't. I thought Kane could have took it as well. He was in there.
Kane was a definite possibility. I thought as well.
I couldn't figure out why Elias wasn't in there. I mean, later on we got our answer, I guess.
Exactly, but no, that still to me isn't even an answer. Yeah. It's not like he was scheduled in a match. He easily could have been a member of the Battle Royal. That was weird that he wasn't. But yeah, I think overall it was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle. We kind of become accustomed to seeing this every WrestleMania. I wasn't watching when it was first introduced at WrestleMania 30.
Felt like so much more, man.
Well,
like
that's what I was going to say. I think this is again just me thinking that they had more intentions with the Battle Royal. They really wanted to make it something that you win on your way to maybe being an Intercontinental or US or even a World Champion. It hasn't really turned out that way in the 4 years that they've done it, but I don't know. This one was better than I think last year with the Gronkowski and all that. You know what I mean? It just, that was worse. So I don't know. Good enough, but
I'm glad that Matt Hardy, got his due here, because he's a guy who I think deserves something.
At Mania, yeah. I guess. Yeah. And what else were you going to do? I mean, I think this was definitely more satisfying than if Matt and Bray had not finished their feud.
Yeah,
and finished it at Mania in a, like, you know what I mean? I think this was better than having that happen.
And now it kind of all makes sense, because I remember even thinking when they did that deletion match, like, why is this not happening at WrestleMania? Why is it so close to WrestleMania? But now we got our answer, and
now we know
we're going to see these guys move forward as a team, which I really like. I think it's cool, because like we've talked. We'll get to that later, but I want to see Jeff and Matt separate.
Yeah, on different shows.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, what they did on Raw this week was really cool, where Jeff kind of talked all broken universe to Matt and Bray and hugged Bray, and then Finn and Seth kind of looked at him like, what the hell was that, man? Like, I thought that segment was really cool. But going forward, I think we'll see what happens with the Superstar shakeup coming next week. We'll find out what happens. Moving on to the next one, Women's Battle Royal.
Yeah, this for me was a dud.
Yeah, kind of underwhelming, I would say. We'll get right to the punch. There was a lot of NXT women in there. Shout out Candice LeRae. Why wasn't she in this match? What's that about? Like, is she just so involved with Johnny Gargano that they feel like she can't be a wrestler yet? She's just Johnny's wife right now.
Well, does she not wrestle regularly on NXT right now?
Not on any, like, I mean, I don't watch NXT like I used to, but not like
a week.
No, I think she does more of the house show type of stuff. Like, she was probably wrestling at WrestleMania Access in front of the fans, like that type of stuff. I'm small gripe about the match, but like I said, we'll get right to it. It was Sasha and Bayley, final two, like we expected.
Yeah.
And Sasha turns, or do they kind of just fight each other respectively? I really don't. This was kind of
I think it was...
I'm a women's wrestling guy, but this was kind of a early washroom break.
Yeah.
Flip the meatballs in the oven, do whatever you have to do.
No, I hear you.
type of match, as bad as that is to say, because like I said, I mean, if we've listened to other lookbacks like the Brooklyn takeover, I'm a women's wrestling guy, but anyway.
One quick thing I wanted to say before we get to like the finish of it too was also like I remember during the beginning entrance, like they highlighted Becky Lynch, like she had her own entrance. And then they brought out all these other women, and then they
walked down the ramp together.
Yeah,
and to fight each other, which I've always thought was weird.
Yeah, or at least keep it off the air,
Yeah.
Like with the men's, we didn't see them all walking out together. You know what I mean?
Not even single file, like in a group, like a posse.
And then we got Bayley, and then we got a little bit of Sasha, and then it cut to a break, and then we got the rest of the Sasha.
Why are we getting breaks? Like, I know it's the kickoff show, but
I couldn't understand that either.
Lord have mercy.
But so I was excited personally when I seen like Becky Lynch getting highlighted at the beginning. I'm like, oh shit, is she gonna get it?
Well, yeah,
that was kind of my pick. Was Becky.
I think that was a lot of people's picks.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a long one. We didn't really give the time of the Matt Hardy match, but the Matt Hardy Battle Royal was 15 minutes 45 seconds. So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
that kind of makes more sense. Where this one was.
How long was this?
Take your guess. Yeah,
10.
9 minutes and 50,
Really?
50 seconds.
Wow.
So didn't even break the 10-minute mark. But I guess Naomi, I didn't notice it. I don't think anybody did that.
Where was she? Like
I just think she got tossed out, but it was maybe under the middle rope, not the bottom. But it wasn't the top, clearly, because we all thought Bayley won and threw Sasha over, and then Naomi was there.
So was this by design, or was this like?
Oh yeah, this was by design.
Yeah.
I don't know whose design.
I don't know. I remember
what
watching
the
it live,
are,
thinking like, was this a mistake or did something?
Really, I don't know.
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
I guess no, obviously not on like such a big show that couldn't be the case. But why Naomi? Like, I'm curious now to see what happens from here on out with Naomi. You know what I mean? I'm glad. No, personally, I'm glad because when I seen it come down to Bayley.
Now that I think of it, and we're gonna get into SmackDown as we talk about the show, but I don't even think they mentioned this on SmackDown, other than like Naomi maybe having one mini little segment with Natalya.
Yeah,
I guess. But it wasn't, I don't know. Like, obviously it wasn't memorable, or I just don't remember it. But, yeah, sorry.
No, I would just like to... I'm glad, kind of, in a way that it was her. Because, I mean, it was very expected for it to be Bayley and Sasha. And I think that if they were going to go that route, I would have wanted to see them... If that was what it was going to be, and it was going to be Bayley or Sasha as the winner, I would have wanted to see more one-on-one action. More of them squaring off at the end rather than just a quick, like, it was such a quick toss out.
Yeah, it was very weird. I think that the big theme of this Mania is shock factor, shocking endings. We'll obviously get to the rest of the matches later, but I think that's what they were going for, shock factor, because nobody thought Naomi was going to win this match. You know what I mean? I would have given you 10 divas I thought were going to win. And no offense to Naomi, but she won. She won the title last year at WrestleMania. It's not like she hasn't
got her moment.
Yeah,
this could
or not that she doesn't deserve a moment.
Yeah.
I just mean like it didn't seem like the right time. Sorry.
No, but this just goes back to I'm not to be on the whole Becky Lynch train, but I think like, especially going back to the history of the Four Horsewomen thing.
Where's her moment?
That would have been perfect for her to do this, to be the one to toss out one of them and win, and then do something after that with her and one of them with the whole draft and.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see where it goes from here with Naomi. I hope they do something more with her, whether it's a turn or an involvement with her and Bayley or some type of feud. I want to see something. I don't want it to just be like the men's one and it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, well, hopefully not, man. Because, like, even with Matt Hardy, I hope they because he's been talking to Andre the Giant Trophy,
which I like.
Like, I hope they keep it around at least for a bit and. He gets something. Like, I hope he can win the Intercontinental title or something or the U.S. if that ends up on Raw with the shakeup coming. But yeah, not much else to say about that. I think we can go forward and move on to the final match on the pre-show.
Yes,
the Curse of the Cruiserweight title. I think that's what you wanted to. I'll let you set the stage here for this one.
Oh yeah, well that's just I'm more thinking of because like okay, so we had our two of our previous champions, one being Neville, who what happened with him? Like, where did he go? I don't know, but the whole story with that.
Well, he had the title for a long time. He was king of the cruiserweights, and then he lost to Enzo by getting low blowed, and then he just kind of disappeared. Left the company,
right? And then we have Enzo carry the ball after that.
Yeah,
and some personal whatever happened with him, and he dropped the title. So I don't know. This title has like a weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, when was? Because 33 we had...
sorry, wait.
Aries.
Sorry, my bad.
And Neville.
I want to go back even before Neville. Rich Swann, and he's gone now.
Yeah, well, he's retired from wrestling, apparently.
Right. Okay, and TJ Perkins before that. Like, where is he now? Like, this title is a little bit cursed to me. Like, right? All these guys I've named, what are they doing now?
Kalisto? Was he a champ?
Where is he?
He's on 205. Like, I don't like that show. I watched it with Zach Young, from the show.
Shout out to Young.
Shout out to Younger. I watched that. We watched 205 Live last week, and I don't know, just an underwhelming show for me. You had Blake Murphy was the big surprise at the end of at the end of the show. That was Blake Murphy turning babyface, or turning heel. Sorry, on.
I wouldn't have known if he was a heel or babyface.
Neither did I. I mean, it wasn't terrible, and he's really come a long way.
Yeah.
In like his physique and everything, being a singles guy. Yeah, good on him, totally. But like that show needs shock the system,
Yeah.
No pun intended.
No,
but they need
sure.
Adam Cole. They need something like that
Yeah.
to make me want to watch it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I love wrestling, but I get my 5 to 6 hours a week, 5 in Raw and SmackDown, and then maybe an hour or 2 of YouTube and other, stuff. I don't feel the need to watch 205 Live.
Yeah.
Whereas if you made me feel like I need to watch that show, then yeah.
I think that's how a lot of people feel about it.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make Raw and SmackDown out to be like they're the best shows in the world and I need to watch them, but they at least have a storyline that hooks you in some kind of way that you want to know what happens next. You know what I mean? The in-ring work might not be the best, but it, like, at all times, and most of the times I would say it is, but they're just, it's about story there. And yeah.
Yeah, this
Cruiserweight title.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, this show needs something for sure. I completely agree with that. And I don't know if this is it. Like, we talked about it on our WrestleMania pre-show as well. I wanted something like, we don't, like, this was just two baby faces going at it, and even at the end we didn't get any kind of turn.
No, the match was good. The entrances were cool.
It was
I really
decent.
liked this.
You know what? It was decent. I
watched it back when the Mania was playing over, and the match was actually really good.
You like, yeah?
It was just like,
well, dude,
hard to remember it because WrestleMania is 7.5 hours. Like, I hope we're not talking here for 4, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a long show. It's hard to remember what happened at 5 o'clock.
Well, see, that's one of the things I'll get into later on in the show, because there was a point that I was starting to doze off later on in the show. But at this point, I was right up in my seat, and I was actually kind of glued in to this match. So I was paying a lot of attention to it. There was a couple of good moves, and, I haven't seen a lot of Mustafa Ali. Cedric I've seen a little more of. So I thought it was a decent match. But I wanted something. I want some type of storyline build, like you said, some character development here or something.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we didn't get any of that. Even, like, afterwards, you told me Blake...
Yeah, that was on 205 Live on Tuesday night or whatever. Which, I'm trying to remember, like, what even... I think he turned on
Cedric?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cedric was having a celebration.
Yeah,
and he showed
I seen
up.
the little clip, yeah.
So, I don't know. It is what it is. The match was pretty good for Mania Cruiserweight, I would say.
Yeah, and not to be biased, but I guess if I watched the two side by side, I definitely like last year's better.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how... I feel like I didn't like that match that much, but it's been a year. With the one with Neville. But I think it was more just like...
Because of where it was placed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, putting this one in between the two Battle Royals was okay, because it made you want a singles match a little more. But yeah, we can go forward if you want to move on to the main show.
I don't have much more to say of that.
Yeah, I guess before we go on to the main show for, I guess, WrestleMania rather than kickoff show, I'll let everybody know. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, at PWLookBack, email, prowrestlinglookback@gmail.com, website, prowrestlinglookback.wordpress.com, all that stuff. Follow us on there. Sorry we haven't been super active lately. We've just kind of been busy with, other stuff, not wrestling, and just busy with WrestleMania stuff. But
yeah, WrestleMania season.
Yeah, we're going to try and get to somewhat of a more regular show coming on a weekly basis. We'll try and figure something out with more of a podcast-style show where we just kind of talk about anything, and then we'll also have our look-backs as well.
Yeah.
But more about that in the future. Definitely check us out on Twitter and Instagram, though, at PWLookBack. Myself, at Salsa on Twitter.
Mine is at New School Money.
Alrighty. We'll go on to the main show then.
Yeah.
What do you want to go in order? You want to just... We'll start with the tags, I guess.
Yeah. Let's go in our little order we got here.
Okay, yeah. So we got Usos, New Day, Bludgeon Brothers. Tag match. I don't know. We got a lot of Usos and New Day throughout the year, so I wasn't, like, super excited for this. Or,
Yeah.
But I personally, man, going into this, I just knew Bludgeon Brothers.
We all did. I think we were all on.
But not everybody that came over. I mean, we had like 12, 15 people over here watching the show, and not everybody.
Yeah.
Really thought.
I mean, but I guess of
the wrestling fans, you're right.
We all were
the ones who actually watch wrestling on a weekly basis. We all kind of thought that was the case, but I don't remember much about this. I mean, it was kind of just
dominating performance by the
Bludgeon Brothers. They're really trying to get them over, and I'm fine with it.
No. That's what I was going to say. I'm totally okay with them winning.
Yeah, I'm fine with this gimmick in general, to be honest with you. other than the hammers, and I didn't think about it until there was, I think, a caller on, I don't know if it was Taz's show or Wade Keller or something, but somebody brought up the fact that they move around those hammers like they're made of foam. Like you know what I mean? If that hammer was as heavy as it looked, you wouldn't be able to hold it with one arm sticking out in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And I never thought about that until somebody brought it up, and you know, they couldn't be more right.
Yeah, maybe they need to either get rid of the hammers or get something a little more heavier in there, like some rubber mallets or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the gear and everything I'm cool with, though.
Yeah. I'm glad that they won, because I think that the Bludgeon Brothers needed to win this one. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if they didn't win here, what the hell was the point of the entire beatdown that happened at Fastlane when they threw Xavier on the steps and demolished the Usos and everything like that? Like, what was the point? And I think you need these guys to have the titles to kind of move forward with the storyline. And even looking back a couple years, maybe I don't want to say a couple, I would say a few years ago, I remember a feud with when they were in the Wyatt family against the Usos, and several fucking great matches between these two teams, but they never got the belts, which I didn't understand, because like they're a great team, you know. And Luke Harper, I give him praise all the time. Eric Rowan, not so much, but he does his part, you know.
Yeah, I don't think people would be behind
the
team if it was just two big guys called the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's at Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, and they were in Wyatt family and they've done stuff in the past, I think the fans give them their respects for that. And the gimmick is okay. I know other people are, you know, not fans of it because it's so generic. Not generic, but so choreographed. But I'm cool with it. I think it's fine, and that's fine in pro wrestling.
Well, like we've had little talks about this before, but I'm glad it's something. You know what? It's not nothing. Like Cedric Alexander what is he? Like, he's just Cedric Alexander. These guys are something.
Yeah,
I like that.
I could say that about 15
I know,
guys
I
on
don't want to dive
roster.
into. I don't want to dive into that conversation too deep. But I'm just saying, I like that they have something. Because if it was just, do you remember before when it was
Harper
just
and Rowan?
They
Harper
tried that.
and Rowan.
They tried that a little while ago, and it didn't.
With the Tajiri music.
It didn't do anything. You know what I mean? It didn't. No, but it didn't do anything. So these guys need something.
Yeah, no, I feel
And
you.
I'm glad that they have something, a little shtick to like work with.
And they have the titles now, and we'll see what happens. I know, like I said, we'll talk about Raw and SmackDown. We'll mix it into our discussion of Mania. We had number one contender match between New Day and Usos on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Usos going over number one contenders. I think it's for Backlash, not the Saudi Arabia show, right?
I'm not 100% sure.
We'd have to double check that. Either way, New Day is our number one contender for the tag team titles as of right now.
I mean, in my mind, it should be for the Saudi Arabia show, because like that's what's next. Backlash is in May. The Saudi Arabia show is the end of April.
Yeah.
So I kind of want them to get this out of the way. Like, I know these guys will tear the house down and have a great match, but I don't know. And even from a fan like point of view, do we really expect the Usos to regain the titles like that? Are they going to get a win? Or, I mean, it's possible.
But I hope not. We'll get into more later, but as far
I
as
wanna see a
Superstar
fresh
Shakeup goes, I want to have somebody new
see a fresh match
on SmackDown, whether it's AOP or even somebody that's already established, like the club, kind of go over with Finn Balor or something like that.
The club, that'd be great against the
cool.
Bludgeon.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Cool, yeah.
Whether it's something like that, I think that would be cool. But anything else you want to say about this match? I mean, I know we're kind of going relatively quickly through the matches, but we're just kind of giving our thoughts on, you know, we have to see what happens coming up with the Superstar Shakeup as well. But overall, I think the placement of this match, I can't remember exactly where it was after saying that.
It was way later in the card. I think it was right before Nakamura and AJ.
So
honestly.
So was it tag match, Nakamura, AJ, tag match, Brock and Roman? Because I know.
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Well then, yeah. So the placement of the whole card, we'll talk about at some point, it was amazing. It was one of the better placed WrestleManias, I think, of the last decade, at least. But yeah, any last thoughts? I think we could go forward with Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun Strowman and his mystery tag partner.
Let's get right into that one.
Yeah, so I don't know how we feel about this one, but...
Yeah,
yeah, get a beer open, sit back.
Were you surprised?
I was definitely surprised.
It was a surprise partner.
I don't know how. I mean, it's pretty cool, I guess, for the kid. for the family, but not from like the fans' perspective. I'm sorry, like I don't want to sound like a dick, but this is just not cool. And especially like recently, like we are 6 days away, or out from WrestleMania now, and I found out that this guy is in the record books. He's going down as the youngest WWE champ, not WWE champion, but you know what I mean, champion in WWE of all time.
Which would make sense. Like it happened.
To me, that takes complete credibility away from Randy Orton being the youngest world heavyweight champion of all time.
Yeah, it's fucked up, but they did it, right? It's their bed they're gonna lay in it. I guess.
So this
type
is
of thing.
small potatoes. You know, this is peanuts in the grand scheme of
I'm not saying
WrestleMania.
that at all. I mean, I didn't like it. Like, I complained quite a bit, especially because I thought...
Congratulations, Nicholas, by the way. I don't even know if we've said his name yet, but Nicholas was the mystery partner, a fan from the crowd that Braun Strowman picked out, who turned out to be the referee's son.
Yeah, related to a ref or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to rip on it too much because, I'm sure a lot of people...
Excuse me while I sip some alcohol.
A lot of people have their opinion about this. Like, they swerved us, that's for sure. I mean, we all thought...
I told you, man, this WrestleMania is a big swerve. A lot of the matches.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Here. Like, it's not like this is a spoiler show, but, Charlotte, swerve, Roman, swerve, this, swerve.
The Charlotte, we'll get to that.
We'll talk about that later. But, this match, the match itself, to me, also, I don't like to use the word, because like I think it's like probably the most overused word in like wrestling opinion critic people that we are, you know what I mean? The category I guess we would be in. They buried Sheamus and Cesaro.
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about as well, because as we talked about beforehand, like we said, what if it is a handicap match? Like, does that take away from a former world champion and a former, U.S. champion and the current tag champions who are on such a great run? Like, they were just
I think so, yeah. Like, I just think the speed in which... I understand it's Braun Strowman, but the speed in which he took them out...
Yeah.
It's not like Nicholas helped, you know what I mean? Like, or even caused a distraction of some kind. Like,
yeah. Which that would have made a little more sense.
Yeah, like
if he did something like that.
I don't know. I guess... I like the fact that they relinquished them on Raw the next night.
Yeah.
And I thought it was super funny when Strowman goes, he's got to go to... He's in the 4th grade. He can't defend the title. That was funny, you know what I mean? But I don't know if that's worth doing at WrestleMania. I mean, they talked about it on a show that we listened to as well, Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Wrestling Soup guys, we're fans.
Yeah.
That you know what I mean? Like, why do this? Like, this is something you do at a house show, not WrestleMania.
Here's the other question I had for you now. So, like, we talked about the placement, and we both, we were pretty okay with it. But this match, not so much. I mean, now knowing that they were going this direction with it...
You wouldn't have put it where you...
I would have much rather had it earlier on. I don't know if I would have had it open, but maybe second.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show. To get it out of the way, if that's what you're doing, this whole fan, and you want to have that little feel-good moment or whatever, because I was under the assumption that, this is the quote-unquote co-main event. So I thought, who's it? Chris Jericho, Big Show. What is it?
Is it really the co-main event, though? Because...
Well, like on, if you want to get technically,
yeah, right? But they've done this before with
the women.
Was the women's battle royal last year the co-main event?
It was a 6-person.
Yeah, well, not battle royal. Sorry, 6-pack challenge or whatever the heck it's called. Like, I don't know. To me, that's not like when you're.
I mean, like technically speaking, I know what you mean. The AJ Nakamura match was the.
Yeah.
Because
that's the championship match that's built up.
But, like, from a technical standpoint, yeah, it's a co-main event.
Yeah, you're not, I guess. I don't know if I agree, but you're right, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not...
We can't agree on everything. That would be a boring podcast.
Yeah, no.
Not much to say other than underwhelming is, I think, the one...
Well, like I said, I was excited because I'm like, before we found out who his partner was, I'm like, who's it going to be? I was like, it's got to be someone big. It's this late in the show. Why would they save this? Why would you save it?
I thought we were getting somebody like Rey Mysterio.
That's what exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly what I was thinking.
Chris Jericho, maybe not Chris Jericho, but somebody like that. Something. It's not around all the time, and
I bought into that Hulk Hogan theory.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a stretch, but
would you have rather seen Hulk Hogan than Nicholas?
I don't I'm a big Hogan fan, and I don't know how
You don't know if
much
you would-
Hogan talk we should even have on the show, but I don't think it's time yet. I think they got to let that simmer for a little while.
I was ready for it, brother.
I think, personally, I think with the whole Moolah stuff, Moolah, whatever,
Yeah,
I think that they got to wait a little, especially because that's so new.
Yeah,
But yeah, this match, all said and done, not too pleased, but also in the end it worked out, and they got switched over. Do you think there's any chance that Braun Strowman ends up on SmackDown with the Superstar Shakeup next week?
Yeah, I didn't even think that's a great point. That's one of the guys I didn't think about. Yes, I fucking hope he does end up on SmackDown.
I don't
100%.
see it because I think he's like if Vince McMahon is giving you his top two, I think it's Roman Strowman, and I don't think he's letting.
What about Bobby Lashley?
Well, we'll see if Bobby Lashley gets the WWE Championship. Then
I think Vince McMahon likes Bobby Lashley.
I hope so. I like Bobby Lashley. I know the Soup guys don't.
No, I would love, dude. Now that you brought that up, my fingers are. I hope that Braun Strowman goes to SmackDown.
That would be awesome. I
like
agree
that.
too because
fresh.
it's a nice, fresh change of pace. I just don't think it'll happen personally. I was just wanted to get your opinion because of the Raw factor, and Raw is the A show and SmackDown is the B show.
Yeah,
in,
I will
in Vince's
almost bank
eyes.
on it. I bank on that Braun Strowman's going to SmackDown now.
Now,
I think he is. I think he's one of the guys, one of the big players going to SmackDown. It's not going to be Roman's not going to SmackDown right now.
Well, here, I mean, before we get into the next match, we've done the two tag matches, the two battle royals, and the cruiserweight match.
Yep.
Why don't you give me a couple people you think from SmackDown that are going to Raw, maybe a couple people from Raw you think are going to SmackDown in this upcoming Superstar Shakeup we're going to have here on the the 15th? It'll be Monday.
Yeah. Well, from the SmackDown side of things, like I've already told you, I think that they're going to switch the Intercontinental and US.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Seth to SmackDown, Jinder
And
to Raw.
Yeah, I think that's happening.
Okay.
I think earlier I did say that off the record I said that Sheamus and Cesaro might go to SmackDown, but now that you brought up the whole Braun Strowman factor, no, I think Braun Strowman
could go.
is going to SmackDown. I totally think that's
and
happening.
we could see somebody else from SmackDown come over.
SmackDown come over, but who's a big enough guy that I would...
Yeah.
I mean, on the women's side of things?
Yeah, I know you mentioned Bayley kind of going over to Raw as well as Becky and maybe Naomi coming over to SmackDown.
Yeah, I
or
think
Bayley
I
coming
think,
to SmackDown.
Yeah, Bayley or Sasha. I think one of the two is going to SmackDown for sure, and I feel like that's why they're having that match on the draft show to kind of put it to bed. We might get one more at Backlash.
One last
hurrah
before they split.
and let them really.
Maybe that'll be the I hope we don't get mixed brand matches, honestly, at these mixed brand pay-per-views coming up here.
Yeah. Do you like this?
No.
I don't.
I'm not a fan. I don't know if that's the majority or not, but personally I'm not a fan. I think they should go back to having one pay-per-view a month, and I think that the brands should rotate each month.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? September would be Raw, and October, would be SmackDown.
Yeah.
November would be Survivor Series where they have both, and then
Totally agree. Yeah.
December is Raw, January SmackDown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Work it out in a way that you're having the big four pay-per-views are where both shows are on that. I don't need 2 pay-per-views a month. I love wrestling, but to me the less is more sometimes. That's why I'm a fan of the whole Brock Lesnar not being on the show all the time. I think it makes the title, brings everything up. Because when you see it, it's like, oh, cool, I finally get to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go, and then I'll give you a couple people after.
So yeah, of the women, I think Bayley, Sasha, one of the two will go over to SmackDown. I think Becky, maybe Naomi going to Raw. I'm trying to think of a big male superstar from SmackDown that would go over. Man, I really don't think that AJ or one of the we mentioned Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, well, I'll give you mine. I kind of can.
Who else? Can you throw some more guys at me for a second, just so I can kind of.
Well, let me tell you who I think are going to go, and
maybe
you can tell me whether you think they are or not. I think Finn Balor's destined for SmackDown. I think Sonya Deville is destined probably for SmackDown in the breakup of Absolution, as well as maybe Mandy Rose joining Goldust, but we'll see. AOP, I know they debuted on Raw, but I could easily see them going to SmackDown. And then I've got Shinsuke, Daniel Bryan, and American Alpha, all people. I mean, who knows how many superstars we're getting in the Superstar Shakeup trademark.
Yeah.
But that's 3 from each brand that I think could be switched, as well as some of the women you mentioned. I agree with. I don't know what else.
Oh, Baron Corbin's going to Raw, I believe.
Oh, I hope not, because Raw is like my favorite show.
Yeah, I think you're getting a lot more Baron Corbin.
Oh no! Please don't say that.
I do. Well, you brought up the point of Finn. Okay, so if Finn goes over to SmackDown, then yeah, Daniel will go. I don't think they're gonna mix all the great fucking Daniel. We're not gonna get Daniel, AJ, Nakamura. And
No,
Finn
I
on
think
one
AJ's
show.
gonna stay.
Yeah.
On SmackDown.
Yeah. Well, here's how I look at AJ and Roman, and I don't want to start a big debate or thing here, but I look at AJ and Roman as like the Batista and John kind of right now. Of their respective brands.
No,
in a way, you know what I mean? In a way.
You're not. That makes sense.
Like,
I get what you're
and I
seeing.
think that right now it's too soon for either one of them to switch. I think it will happen inevitably, but I just feel like, AJ right now is holding down SmackDown, and whether he has the title or not, he's going to be there.
Mm-hmm. I think Shinsuke might even stay, and they'll
he's staying too,
continue their feud. But for me, Daniel Bryan is destined for Raw for two reasons. One, being The Miz isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And because when Miz comes back from his maternity leave or whatever he's going to go on, that is already a program that's basically they've got stockpiles of footage.
That's a SummerSlam match.
Yeah, they've got footage they can use from last year for a match that they finally can have. And second of all, you got to separate AJ and Daniel Bryan. To me, like I mentioned before we started, hit the record button.
Yeah,
they can't be on the same show. They're the same guy. Like they're not the same guy, but they're of the same. They're cut from the same cloth. It's just the cloth was, had different things put on it. That's a terrible analogy, but you know what I mean.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. And we'll get fresh stuff. I mean, if we get Seth over on SmackDown, who wouldn't want to see Seth and AJ? Like, I know Seth has, said that himself. Or Seth and Nakamura. Like, come on, we can get some really cool...
As much as I'd like to see Seth and Daniel Bryan, too.
Yeah.
Good points. We can get back to WrestleMania, unless you want to have any other thoughts about the... kind of superstar shakeup. I figured that we could sprinkle that into the show as we make our way through.
I know we're getting to this match next, though, so I think Bobby Roode might go over to Raw too.
I could see that, but give me heel Bobby Roode. Give me the heel that was in NXT, cocky, wearing Triple H look-alike, not look-alike, but Triple H type
Triple H-esque.
Triple H-esque wrestler that was in NXT that I was introduced to, because I'm mainly a WWE guy, and I didn't see a lot of Bobby Roode prior.
I did, and it was very much like that. So I like heel Bobby as well.
Yeah, I want to see more of that. I think that was pretty good. I mean, yeah. Any of the other new people that you think might get moved before we dive into the next one?
Yeah.
Like No Way Jose or Ember Moon, do you think they're staying on Raw?
Well, see, you brought up AOP. I think AOP they're going to keep on Raw, because I don't think they're going to put them and the Bludgeon Brothers,
together yet.
Close right now. I think that's a later on type of deal. But yeah, I don't know. One of those three for sure, and it might be Bobby Lashley going to SmackDown. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That I only see that happening if Roman and Strowman stay. But at the same time, because you're right, Bobby's probably one of Vince's guys, but I see those as he wants to keep his favorite people on his favorite show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we're only a few days, a week out from the Superstar Shakeup, so I'm sure me and Donovan, or me, Donovan, Younger, and Mike, and some group of us will talk about the Superstar Shakeup next week, hopefully.
How could I forget? Sorry. One more quick one. Jeff Hardy to SmackDown.
Jeff Hardy to SmackDown.
Yeah.
To be fighting for
Getting
the U.S. belt.
Singles push, and he'll probably take the title off Nakamura at SummerSlam.
Easy there.
That's a prediction from Whiskey D.
Maybe he can feud Jinder for 6 months.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
Do the favors for Jinder in the end.
Oh, okay. We'll have our Jeff Hardy debate later on. Back to WrestleMania?
Yeah, back to WrestleMania 34 hype show. No, not hype show. React show.
Yeah.
Reaction. We'll get into it. We'll start with the SmackDown U.S. title. I guess the WWE U.S. title. Randy Orton is the champion versus Rusev, Jinder Mahal, and Bobby Roode. Fatal 4-way. Make sure we get everybody on the show match.
Oh, fuck me.
Don't want to piss off Rusev match. It was okay.
It was nothing special.
No, I wasn't super excited for this, and I like Jinder Mahal. and Randy Orton was one of my favorites as a kid, and Rusev's over as fuck with the whole Rusev Day stuff right now, and Bobby Roode is as stale as bread on the counter for a week as of right now. Like I said, make him a heel again.
Yeah.
This show we've been doing tonight, I mean, we're not going to get into specifics of the match itself. We'll do that one day on a look back show, and we'll talk more specifics. It's more just kind of the finishes and the winners and where we're going from here that we're talking about. What do you think? Was this the right decision, Jinder Mahal?
For sure. Well, me and you were on the same page, I know, with this match as well.
Well, I am a fan of Jinder in a way that I get that he's a real heel, and we don't.
What was the time on this match? Sorry, before we. I'm just curious.
8 minutes, 15 seconds, so not a long one.
That's about right, though. I mean, it didn't feel too long. But that's kind of what I wanted as well. I didn't want too much from a Fatal 4-Way with these guys.
No, and we've seen a lot of them together in mixed tag but tag matches and Fatal 4-Way.
From Jinder and Randy feuding.
Singles matches, triple threats. Like, we've seen every possible rendition of these four wrestlers coming together. I'm happy that it was only 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
No, I think good decision giving it to Jinder. The next best I would have done is give it to Rusev, but for some reason, I don't know, they're just not. Right now, maybe isn't his time. I don't know if he's going to go on Raw and do something, or.
I think he's going to go on some Ring of Honor and do something, to be completely honest with you. I don't think Raw's in the cards. We know as of right now that we're recording this on April 13th, 2018, he was in the match with Undertaker in Saudi Arabia in a casket match, and they kind of pulled him from that and then replaced him with Jericho. So I don't know if he's upset somebody with his tweets and stuff, but
or maybe they just pulled him because Chris Jericho was available too. I mean, that's
and
totally
Chris Jericho's a bigger
star,
like a bigger name. You're going to sell more tickets. No offense to Rusev, with Chris Jericho, especially in a foreign country.
Yeah, like I personally am not reading too much into that. I think that maybe Jericho had a date available. Put him on. Put him with the Taker. They've worked before. Great chemistry. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jinder winning the U.S. title, big for him. His first U.S. title.
I know Mike mentioned at the when we were party or whatever, when we watched the show, that he would have preferred this to kind of be reversed, whereas, have him win the U.S. title last year and have it for 6 months, and then maybe he could have won the WWE title at WrestleMania or something of that nature. I don't know if that's exactly what Mike meant, but I kind of see what he's getting at, but I think at this point, we're not there. We're never going to be there. We're here. We're now. And it worked at Mania to give him the belt. Yeah,
I totally get that. Like that point of view is on it too, but I mean it's very typical too. Like we always get the foreigner winning the U.S. title and having a lot, like Rusev. We've seen it with Rusev, and we've seen it with guys in the past, like having the stretch with the title and anti-American.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm okay that he had his WWE title run and now he's doing this. I'm glad he's got something, and
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think it should have went back to Bobby. The only person I could have seen having it again is Rusev, but this time he would have had to be a babyface. They would have had to turn him the next night on Raw or on SmackDown if that was the case.
So, just a question I have for you, like who draft and everything included, like even if you could throw a guy over, who does Jinder feud with after his match with, because I know Orton.
Yeah, I was going to say, so we've seen SmackDown. We had a triple threat match to decide the number one contender who's going to fight Jinder at Backlash. That was Randy Orton with the win.
Yep.
So we see Randy and Jinder kind of a repeat from last year with the WWE Championship.
Or is that in Saudi Arabia? Do we know? Or?
I think it was Backlash in the little clip we watched there. I couldn't remember from when I actually watched SmackDown. But what was the question?
Who would you like to see Jinder feud with after Randy Orton?
After Randy Orton. Well, I mean,
if he retains.
This is completely deciding on the superstar shakeup.
Yeah.
But I could see, because I think he deserves to have some sort of strap. Finn Balor come over to SmackDown and maybe feud with Jinder if he stays as a heel, and his whole thing with the people that he's doing right now could be very everyone against Jinder, every type of person. Other than Finn, somebody fresh. I definitely don't want to see any of these three.
No. Yeah.
Maybe Dolph Ziggler, if they do it the right way. If they build a story with Dolph Ziggler, like have Dolph win matches every week, like for a little while.
Yeah.
Even if he just beats Mojo one week, and then like I don't care if he beats the fucking Boogeyman one week, but just give him something, and then have him say, "Hey, Paige." Speaking of that, new general manager of SmackDown Live, Paige, awesome moment. But yeah, hey Paige, I've won 5 matches out of the last 6 matches.
And he never lost the U.S. title.
And I didn't lose the U.S. title. And I've changed. And I want an entrance music. And give me a title match.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm speaking out of...
I don't know what...
Land,
I don't know what
I think it's definitely possible that somebody like Dolph Ziggler could still be fighting for that U.S. title.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What about... I know, and these guys I know are considered more heavyweight title picture guys. But what about if a Bobby Lashley or a Braun Strowman comes over? Could you see one of them maybe mixing it up with Jinder and doing?
I could, but
Braun's yet to have a singles.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think Braun's gonna skip that. To be honest, I think Braun is. Yeah, I know that people are saying, if Roman wins the belt, Samoa Joe, and he's already fighting Samoa Joe, but I don't think that's gonna last long. Put Braun in some sort of title match for the main belt. He needs to win that belt, I think. I don't know what's going to happen, whether it's SummerSlam, if we have to wait until SummerSlam, which I'm fine with, because whoever has the belt now needs to keep it for a little while. I don't want to flip-flop it all over the place. But, I don't know. Random topic. I know we're kind of getting all over the place. No. I mean, I think we've said what we need to say about Jinder and Rusev and Orton and Bobby Roode in that match, but somebody had brought up putting Samoa Joe with AOP. I think that's cool and would be very nice little group.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that AOP look like they should be with Roman with their gear, and everything. Yeah. But I don't know. I thought I'd just get that in there. That was kind of something I had heard on another show that I thought was cool. That'd be good. Yeah, not my idea, but definitely something I think would turn out to be.
I don't know, but only to me, Samoa Joe's like that lone warrior kind of. Dude.
Well, he's not the lone wolf. Man.
No, not the lone wolf. That's why I stayed away from the wolf. He's the lone warrior.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I guess we can kind of stay in the same kind of grouping that we're working our way up through the titles.
Yeah.
But we have Miz as the Intercontinental Champion versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, WrestleMania 34. This was the opener of the actual show, right?
Yeah.
So this opened WrestleMania after we had the 2 Battle Royals and the Cruiserweight match. So
did you like this as an opener?
I thought it was a good choice.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have. I don't know. It's weird. If I was a wrestler, I don't agree with the statement of I'd rather open or close. I wouldn't want to open.
No.
I don't know why. I just have that personal feeling, and I've never talked about this. I'm just talking about it on the show for the first time. But I wouldn't want to open. I don't know. I am not a big on opening the show.
Well, I'll give you a little.
I don't know why. It's not like I'm against it completely. I would love to be on any show and appreciate it. But I would still be striving to be the last or close to the end.
No, for sure. To my knowledge, from what I know, the opener is still considered a big deal, man.
Yeah, I've heard Kevin Owens say it before. If I'm not closing, I want to open.
You got to set the tone for the night and get the crowd. You guys are got to get the crowd into it.
Yeah. Well, I said, it was a good choice.
Good guys.
It was a good choice, and I'm happy they picked this one as the opener. As we've stated before, I think probably one of the best placed WrestleManias overall. This match here, we had some cool-ish entrances. Miz had some weird gear on, and Seth's entrance was cool. I'm not even a Game of Thrones fan, but if you see the character that he was trying to be, it was very cool. Very cool. His gear and everything, the shirt he was wearing and the eyes and everything, it was cool. Finn kind of did the gay pride entrance, which was, cool. WWE's going down that road. It's cool. I like to see them be open to everything. You know what I mean? There's, not singling anything out. And
it's a market,
exactly.
Right? And he's the.
I was just gonna say, I guess, and it works, right?
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with that. But yeah, the match itself was good.
Yeah.
Nothing that stands out specific, but I think it's because they kind of gave us Finn Balor and everybody
prior.
Yeah, we had a lot of this on the beginning of the the weeks prior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, this goes back to my whole thing of I love singles matches, one-on-ones, and we had so many of these bunched in groups and tags and triple threats and four-ways, and like I like a good singles match, which brings me to something a little later on. But one of my favorite matches of the night was definitely a one-on-one, one of the better pure wrestling matches of the show. I thought in the women's match with like Charlotte and Asuka.
Charlotte and Asuka. You want to get to that right away, or
not right now? But I'm just saying,
Okay.
like, as far as like that's what happens. There's only so much that these guys can do in a triple threat and a fatal four-way, and you're kind of putting a little bit of a box.
Yeah, I think
Like you said, it was okay.
it was okay. Like I said, but I think that had to do with Seth and Finn's match on Raw the week
That too.
before.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Like,
If
that
we
match
got-
was pretty awesome.
if we
I
got-
don't think they should have done that.
Yeah, and if we got that match on Mania, it would have been amazing, right?
Exactly, but they also did a little contradicting WWE thing where they kind of added, I forget what I was going to say now completely, but they had the winner of the match
Yeah.
on Raw usually isn't the winner of the match at
Oh
WrestleMania.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's sorry for being so all over the place, but yeah. So Seth wins on Raw, and then Seth wins at Mania, which is
Yeah.
cool for Seth.
Yeah.
And great, and the match was awesome, but not very WWE typical.
Yeah, I know you're right. I remember thinking that because I thought Finn Balor was going to win. Like that was kind of my pick.
Yeah.
I was sure that they were going to give him something and get him the title and kind of keep it going from there. But yeah, that's a great point actually. I really liked the fact, I wanted to bring this up, that The Miz, when he came out, he sent his entourage to the back. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I was not expecting that by any means, like whatsoever. I thought they were going to be integral parts of the match, to be
Yeah.
honest.
What was the time on this match? 10, 15, not 15, maybe like, I'm going to guess like 12.
No, it was actually 15 minutes and
Okay.
30 seconds. So it was a good long-ish match to open the show. Nothing went too long on this show, which was good. Again, not only was the placement good, but each match wasn't too long. I mean, the show was long as a whole,
Yeah.
but each match, nothing was overly long. Definitely nothing like a Wrestle Kingdom type of show.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Where you get
Yeah.
your long matches and you get more.
I need that though. I need a couple of those.
You need a couple of
I
those.
need a
really
couple
long
of
ones?
those. Like I'm very curious as we go down the card as to the
Yeah, we'll keep asking
the
me.
times of.
Then I'll give you all the times for
Yeah.
sure. But going forward, I mean, aside from the match itself, we had Seth win in pretty dramatic fashion with a couple different, finisher reversals and him hitting the curb stomp.
And he pinned the Miz.
Yeah, pin the Miz.
Which is good. He pinned the champ.
Exactly, which was nice, even in a triple threat match to pin the champion. And then on Raw, I don't even remember what specifically went down, but I think it's all going to depend on the Superstar shakeup coming, and that's what I was going to say. It's good that we're going to record another show
Yeah.
this coming week post Superstar shakeup, because I think, like you said, Seth could be on SmackDown in a week
Well, him and the Miz are scheduled.
to have a rematch.
The Miz, he used his rematch clause, I believe, at Backlash.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is weird. This
Like
whole
I said,
Saudi Arabia
I hope,
show confuses.
well, not
me.
even just the Saudi. I hope we don't get too much of this Raw SmackDown stuff at Backlash, man. Like, I hope Seth isn't on SmackDown
Oh, we will.
by then.
We
and-
will for sure. Do you remember Battleground last time they did the shakeup? This is the last time you're gonna see this, and this is the last time we're getting a lot of that for sure.
Yeah.
And winner, but in a sense, I like it because, if Miz goes to one show and Seth goes to another, winner takes title and goes to that show. And maybe they could swerve us and have, this guy take a title over here when we could have the U.S. and Intercontinental on the same show, and then they do some type of switch afterwards.
Or keep
Swerve
him
us
there.
at the
Or
pay-per-view.
keep him there
Yeah.
and bring Adam Cole up
Exact. Do
with,
something
with the
different.
North American.
Exactly,
No, I'm
yeah.
just kidding. But
No, but
that would be that would be cool.
swerve it a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know. I don't want to dive too much into the post WrestleMania Intercontinental title picture because we really don't know where it's gonna be. So we'll kind of go forward onto the next match. I think overall, Intercontinental title match was a good way to open the show. Good match between three fantastic wrestlers, and yeah. I think we know what that means. Talk about the next one.
Well, if I don't win the WWE title, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania. Just wanted to let you know that. What a build up to this one, right?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
The
Did you
fan,
not like
John
it?
Cena, the fan, sitting ringside. I thought that was different. I don't know.
I like
I don't know
that.
if I'd use cool.
I like that part of it. He was in his. He wasn't. At least he didn't come in. The hat and the green tea.
Yes, that I liked. I don't know. I say,
But they didn't have to
too
pan.
much, but-
They didn't have to pan to him every 30 seconds.
Oh my
Like,
god! How many times did we get him? Like, was it literally 15? Like, and I use the word literally.
Yeah.
Like, it might have been 15 times.
No, you're absolutely right.
It was kind of getting excessive near
In
the
between
end.
the matches, after the matches, yeah, we constantly got a John Cena.
Yeah, but I said this to you before we hit record, but I think they had to do this. I think Undertaker probably told them, I can't go out there and give you a full-fledged Undertaker match that you might be expecting, even if it's a, he doesn't want to do what happened last year with Roman. That was not a good match.
Okay, wait, which brings me to the before we get it, how long was this match? Was it like 7 minutes, maybe?
7 minutes. Are
No,
you crazy?
was that a lot?
Oh my god!
What, it was 5? Really?
This match?
Really? No. What?
This match was 2 minutes and 45.
No, it wasn't.
2 minutes and 45
Really?
seconds.
It felt a lot longer
I knew it
than
was
that.
three and under.
It was
I
all
have
the
times
entrance.
here.
It was all the.
Well, yeah, we had Elias for a
yeah,
while, and then we
okay,
had Cena come out and
It
try and
felt
beat up
longer to me.
Elias, and then he went back to his seat, and then, you know what? We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We did have John Cena kind of interrupt Charlotte and Asuka. We'll get to Charlotte and Asuka.
Yeah.
But he did interrupt after that match and run up, a referee came and told him, hey, Undertaker's backstage, you better go see what's going on. And he went backstage, and we had him back at his seat later with Elias and him interrupting Elias. And then we did get The Undertaker, and we had a 2-minute 45 John Cena
Fuck! It was 2 minutes. Holy
Super
shit,
Cena.
That's mind blowing. I thought it was.
loses to Undertaker in 2 minutes and 45
I
seconds.
thought it was like at least 5.
No,
really.
it was 2 minutes 45. Yeah, basically what we got was we got our Undertaker. We got old school. We got some, our
Yeah, he did all the
backdrop,
moves. Yeah.
back, clothesline,
Yeah. The snake eyes.
choke slam,
Yeah, he did all
snake
that, yeah,
eyes,
yeah.
and the tombstone 1 2 3 to finish it off, which is weird in the sense that how much stuff has John Cena kicked out of in his career, blah 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 blah. What-
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
When you think back to like the matches he had just a few months back with AJ and stuff. Like
Exactly.
that.
But all said and done, whether we like it or not, I think this is what we're going to get from Undertaker kind of now.
What, 2 minutes?
Well, I don't know about 2 minutes, but I don't think we're ever going to get anything remotely close to Shawn Michaels or even,
Yeah.
or
No,
even Roman last year. I think
Yeah.
his matches are going to be shorter now, and maybe we'll get one more match at Mania. I know we're going to have our casket match casket match?
Yes.
Casket match at the, where is it?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi.
Yes.
I was gonna say Abu Dhabi, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to say the wrong place. So yeah, Saudi Arabia. Show there. We'll have a match, but I don't know. This. I guess it served its purpose. It sucks for John Cena, but I hate to say it. I don't think Cena cares that much anymore. I think he's here to be here, and he's more focused
I
on
don't know if I'd say he
transitioning
doesn't
into the
care.
Rock.
Like,
Not
he
that
definitely, he still goes out when he has to and puts on those great matches. Like,
I just feel like, and I'm a big Cena guy, man.
I know, yeah.
I feel like he's kind of.
he has taken more of a backseat in recent years,
Yeah.
but he needs to. He does need to.
I just feel like he doesn't take it as serious. It really bugs me. Like, I wish, like, you know what I mean? I wish I could show clips on this show and that kind of stuff. But when Undertaker came into the ring and took his hat off and did that whole stuff, Cena was like cowering in the corner as if he was a 10-year-old kid that had never seen the Undertaker before. Like, he was, it was too much.
Maybe he
personally.
got into his fan zone a little bit.
You know how
in
Cena
facing
gets
The
sometimes,
Undertaker.
and he's very, like, jumpy,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I can't describe it in audio, but
Not to like dive too deep into this one, but I don't think that he doesn't try. I just think he needs the right guy to bring it out of him too. Like, when was him and AJ? Him and AJ wasn't that long ago, and they put on a few great matches, as I remember. He did a little thing with Shinsuke, like not a major program, but I want to say AJ Styles is probably the most recent guy. Like, I think if you put Samoa Joe in a program with John Cena, like, they could do some really cool stuff. Like, he just needs.
yeah, I think he's starting to turn into the Rock.
Yeah, no, he's
in the
definitely
bad
more-
parts. Like, he's, turning. I didn't even see it, but he's starting to become what he would chirp the Rock
Yeah,
for
which
being.
is so funny to me.
Because
because
I
I
didn't even
remember
watch
that,
all that
yeah.
stuff live, but
Yeah.
it is kind of funny. Overall, I don't want to spend too much time on it because there's not any post.
Well, I have a few things to say
Stuff.
actually.
Yeah,
I
take the reins
and
not
the
Roman.
Roman, right? No, if there was one thing I could have changed, I like there was a lot of rumblings beforehand of the whole like what version of the Undertaker are we gonna get?
Yeah, I guess me and you didn't even dive into that at all. Clearly, it didn't matter. From a standpoint of the fact that we've been talking for 5 minutes and it hasn't come up yet.
No, it did matter though. Like to me,
really,
I just
for me it was like an icing. You know what I mean? If they did it, awesome, cool. It's like getting the cherry on the ice cream that you don't need, but it's better with it.
Even if they somehow paid a tribute to like I heard this on another show. This is not like
your idea, yeah.
Taking
it's
it
okay.
all.
Like
but someone
we've said a million times, Pro Wrestling LookBack is 100% opinion based podcast listening. We are not even remotely close to broadcast professionals or wrestling professionals. This is pure opinion based. Check us out. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PWLB.
Totally. This one I got from my boy Ryback.
Yeah.
You know, he brought up the point of like maybe we'll get like this would have been so cool, man, to have his entrance do a little bit from each different version of the Undertaker because there's been so many, and then go to the Dead Man.
Again, another thing I said to you before we hit record, I think when he took the clothes back, whether it was cheesy or not with the lightning, I don't care. I think it made sense. Like they showed the clothes in the ring, lightning, boom. I'm taking my clothes back.
My retirement.
This MFer is talking about me, telling me I'm old and shit. I'm gonna beat his ass in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
at my show.
You said that to me during the show, and it definitely like made sense.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that is what
I just would have preferred.
If that didn't happen, I would be way more on your side.
Yeah.
If they didn't, at least, it's just sometimes we get so much lack of with WWE. So the fact that they went the extra effort to
paid the attention
to show us like, no, he's taking his clothes back.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about how he left his stuff in the ring? He just took it back.
Yeah.
So like to me, that's like been undone. As like, I mean, as stupid as it is, they can do that. Like it's their universe. You know what I mean? They can literally say, yeah, well, here's his clothes are back now, so he's still the Dead Man.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. If he would have came out with if I would have heard that motorcycle, I would have went crazy. And I didn't even witness that badass Undertaker. I never even saw that.
Well, I just thought live, like, you know, he's in the tail end of his career. I thought they would have wanted to like humanize him a little more.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, John Cena he should have just kept the t-shirt and jeans on. He didn't have to go change, man. He should have. I kind of wanted a little bit of a street fight element. Like, I didn't even need the bell to ring. I didn't need a full, 2-minute match what it was, but it could have just been a straight...
I think they also did it to have, you know, nobody can ever say when John Cena's 60 and Undertaker's 70, I don't know what their age gap is, but nobody will ever be able to say, why didn't you guys fight? You know what I mean? Why did you never have a match?
Yeah.
Because they did now. They did. You know what I mean? Undertaker beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Whether we like it or not, it happened and it was a match.
Too little, too late is what I think, though. The ultimate story of this.
Yeah, like, I mean, it definitely could have happened.
Which I think, like, me and Younger had a little talk about this on the hype show that we did. Because that
this should have happened 5 years ago? Is it 4 years or 3 years ago?
Even before, when the streak was still intact, it should have happened. Like, this is just a little, too late for me. And this is the version we get now, is the 2 minute and something.
Yeah, well, I think the other thing is that this match, like,
don't get me wrong.
The placement of it, I know we're not going in order of matches that happen on WrestleMania, but Triple H and Stephanie, which we'll get to, coming out on motorcycles didn't help that. I know they're not going to have more than one entrance with motorcycles. So, like, this isn't, again, opinions. We listen to other shows. We love wrestling podcasts.
Yeah.
Something else I heard in another show. Once that happened, it's kind of it should have been a setting off bells, which it did for me watching it.
I thought about that as well.
But not as much as until I heard people say it afterwards. Like, you're definitely not getting The Undertaker on a motorcycle. Once you see, 15... motorcycles with hot chicks on them, and Triple H and Stephanie riding tricycles.
Yeah. I don't even know if I needed that, though. Like, and I guess they couldn't have done it this way because you had to kind of make sense of The Undertaker coming back and do the whole entrance and everything like that. But what if he just came through the crowd and just beat the shit out of John Cena? And
that would have been cool, too, but then we never get our official match. Then they have to have a match next year to Do you know what I mean?
We still didn't get it though. You know what I mean? To what people want, that dream match. And I'm not saying I wanted it this year because it probably couldn't have happened.
I know.
30-minute, you know.
We'll go back to an hour ago at the beginning of the show. Technically, the second last match is the co-main event. You know what I mean? Technically,
so I guess technically speaking, this is their match.
They had a match.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, because if that happened and there was a street fight in the crowd and they fought in the back and Cena threw him into a dumpster and blah, 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 and they go in the boiler room. And we still want a match if that happens. Whereas I'm okay with not having an Undertaker Cena match now.
But why?
Whereas if that happened, I still want to see somebody get pinned. We're still watching pro wrestling. And this is, I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. And if we disagree, it's a podcast and that's what's cool. But if I saw that happen, I'd be like, loving it. This is awesome. Yeah, they're fighting all over the building. But I still want to see who wins. Who wins when they have a match?
Well, okay, in my, random booking world of this, I guess I would have done that, and then we could have had we could have this 2-minute match later, like we could have had a backlash,
Yeah.
Because John Cena was the fucking Punk calling out Undertaker, you're old, you're this.
Well, that's why he had to lose.
Yeah, no, for sure. But he just he got a one-sided whooping, ultimately.
Oh, it was
and it would have been such a cool visual because we don't get that anymore. Just like how.
Well, I'm picturing like Undertaker, Hulk Hogan and McMahon 19 type of street fight. Is that what you're?
No, I'm thinking even like past that. Like when you started saying in the back in this, you really got me going with the gears in my head. Like,
okay,
I would have loved to see that little crowd.
So would have I, but I still felt like if that happens, it warrants a match after. Because that is similar to what we got with Brock and Roman leading into Mania. One guy beating the shit out of another guy outside the ring.
But Undertaker's retired. Or he could have been retired. Do you know what I mean? Like, he came there as Mark Calloway to beat up John Cena.
I don't think Undertaker, the wrestler, I don't think Mark Calloway, the human, the person, is ready for that. And that's my own personal opinion.
And that's why
I don't think he's ready to be Mark Calloway.
Yeah.
In front of the WWE universe. I think he's still the Undertaker, which is fine. That's what I want. But one day we're gonna get Mark Calloway up on stage at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
But when I say that, I mean like, these big evil fucking biker, whatever you want to call it. That was a lot like that was a Mark Calloway version.
Totally, I know what you mean.
Even though they still called him the Undertaker, it was still very much. I don't know. I don't want to go on to this.
We've been talking about this match for a long time, but
overall. Yeah, it was what it was. It was kind of...
We got our Cena Taker match, like I said.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody still wants another one. I mean, they might want a better one, but I doubt many people would want another one.
I just want to ask you now. So do you think we get the Undertaker next year for sure?
Oh, yeah. I think Undertaker...
Okay, and just like
I think next year is the...
If we look into a time machine, what do you see? Like, anything. Just give me something. And I'll tell you, like...
It totally depends on... status of people, shakeup and where people get pushed. We could get Roman asking, calling out the Undertaker again, saying, "I retired you. Why'd you come back?"
Yeah,
which I don't want. We could get Bobby Lashley, depending on where he ends up 6 months to a year from now.
Yeah,
we could get even somebody like Seth Rollins, who hasn't really, in my opinion, like he's amazing, but he's a half step away from where AJ and I don't like Roman, but from where Roman is, where those guys are on the pedestal of, hierarchy. Yeah, in my opinion, I think Seth Rollins could still get another half step to be in that upper echelon of guys. Yeah, I know I'm speaking.
No, he's missing a little something. No, yeah.
Capabilities of knowledge, right. But you know what I mean. I think we can go forward. That the match was good enough, and yeah.
I want to see maybe because knowing that he can't do as much now, and I wouldn't really want to see this as his last. And I don't know if Undertaker can put in 2 more years of WrestleMania because, it's a lot. Yeah. But I want to see. I'd like to see him and Kane team up at a WrestleMania.
Yeah, why not? To me, that would have been better to have this year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That would have been more...
I know they did it a couple years back in a Survivor Series, which was cool because that's where Undertaker debuted. But I'd like to see that at a Mania before it's all said and done, Maybe not his last because, you kind of want to go out on your own.
Well, we'll see where they go forward with Undertaker kind of post Saudi Arabia casket match, and whether he even makes any sort of appearance after that for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate it, but anything is possible in the WWE, as we know that. What do you want to go to next? You want to move into Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus KO and Sammy?
Yeah.
I know you're a big DB fan, so this was kind of a big one for you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to watch a lot of Daniel Bryan in my time so far watching wrestling. I went through it in other shows. I watched kind of back in the day from 04 to 07, and then got back in late 2015 or so. So I saw Daniel Bryan. One of the first Raws I watched when I got back into wrestling again was Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw, leading into Fastlane, which was leading into Mania 31.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic wrestler. I mean, I don't need to say much about Daniel Bryan, but I know this match meant a lot to everyone.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, as much as they, the storyline shows them the way they are, clearly the WWE likes these guys. They trust them. They know how talented they are to be putting them in there with Shane McMahon for months on end, and storylines with the big man himself, Vince, and stuff like that. So give me your thoughts on this match, Donovan.
Man, when it
start to finish, get right into it.
Yeah, when it all boiled down to it, I was like super excited for this. A couple weeks leading up into Mania, I wasn't as excited, or I didn't feel as excited for certain matches. But then when I really sat back and looked at the card, I was like, you know what I'm really excited for is this return of Daniel Bryan, because
you were really talking about it a lot leading into Mania.
Because I a few weeks ago I had said, Finn Balor is probably one of my favorite guys on the roster right now. But now that Daniel Bryan's back, man, I'm super excited. He's probably one of my favorite wrestlers, of all time.
All time.
Yeah, especially because I seen the entire rise, and I was behind him the whole thing.
The rise and fall of Daniel Bryan, and rise again.
Yeah. It's amazing to see him back.
He's just such a fan person, you know what I mean? Even we had one of our buddies' dads was over watching the show with us, and I was
and he got into Bryan.
Yeah. And he's obviously casual fan. He's not watching the shows or even the pay-per-views on a regular basis. Barely even knows who Daniel Bryan is. He probably has more affiliation with the Yes Chant in NHL hockey games than Daniel Bryan himself. But he turned to me and he's like, I like this guy. You know
I remember
what I mean?
that, yeah.
And he was in the crowd was going, and it's very Daniel Bryan. He's just likable.
Yeah.
He's
for everybody, and that's what I mean. This guy, man, he's...
Trust me, I don't think they're gonna drop the ball this time.
Yeah.
They can't. I don't know. We'll see what they do with Daniel Bryan going forward. Like I mentioned before, I think he's destined for Raw. Mm-hmm. I think he's destined maybe to be fighting whoever the champion is, whether it's Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, whoever it is.
Yeah.
I hope,
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan gets a shot at one of them.
Did you like the setup of this match? I mean,
I think leading in, it was probably, aside from maybe the Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, one of the best built matches, because they really built it up for so long. I mean, it goes back to Kevin Owens fighting Shane at Hell in the Cell and Sammy getting involved there. That itself goes back to Kevin Owens headbutting McMahon. So, it's been built for a long time. I think stuff got shuffled around. I don't know how early they knew Daniel Bryan was going to be wrestling. I think me and you kind of, as soon as we saw him growing out the beard and the hair, that was when me and you...
we talked about it
We thought he was getting ready to, open the door and leave, but it was kind of the opposite. I think the build was fantastic. The match itself was good. Daniel Bryan, the crowd was into him. I think it was more about Daniel Bryan. I think that kind of overshadowed a little bit. I mean, not the match itself, but just, I don't know.
How long did this one go, actually? I'm very, very curious.
Thanks for keeping me strong on getting all the times out. But this one, again, 15 minutes, 25 seconds. A lot of the matches were within that 15 to 20 minute mark, aside from some of the really shorter ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I think a little bit, like I said, Daniel Bryan being there took away from a bit of the story, because people were so excited just to see Daniel Bryan rather than see Kevin Owens and Sammy get fired.
Yeah.
Or that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
I hear you on that.
As well as Shane McMahon in not a good way. I mean, horrible for Shane McMahon, having diverticulitis and all this, being diagnosed, and hernia surgery and stuff apparently happened before Mania. I don't know how he wrestled with that, recovery, but
yeah,
whatever. I just mean, I feel like that took away a bit from Daniel Bryan's return.
Yeah.
As well. But the match was good, and I know, was it one of your favorites?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if it had to do with the crowd being so into it or me being such a huge Daniel Bryan fan, but I just thought, like,
probably a bit of both.
Yeah, and also, like, dude, it seemed like he didn't lose a beat. He was laying those kicks in, and it really made you realize, like, remember, like, this guy, he's one of the fucking best. And I really like how it started, too, with Owens and Zayn jumping them from behind.
Oh, it was perfect.
Great.
I was a little shocked at the beginning when I seen Daniel Bryan and Shane come out first, but then
it all made sense.
Exactly.
After,
it kind of all made sense when you realize, hey, maybe that might happen, and it did.
Yeah.
Overall, good. We'll see what happens. I know Cammy, I almost called him Cammy. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn showed up on Raw, had a match with each other that was a draw because they
I thought it was going to be a double count.
But it was double count and inside basically, same thing. Double knockout, I guess you would call it, like in boxing. So we'll see what happens with them. I don't know where they're going to end up, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. I hope they kind of get split up. I feel like it's time. They've been together for quite a while and had a lot of matches against each other. I feel like it's good to split them up, maybe.
I remember the last...
I'd like to see... This is totally off topic. I'd like to see Owens get like a... kind of like a legacy thing with Randy Orton. Maybe have two guys that he takes under his wing.
Okay.
Just because he's such a good talker.
Yeah.
That I feel like... I can't think of two guys right now off the top of my head, but like... two guys, like TM61 or something. Not them specifically, but somebody generic like them who doesn't have a lot of personality. They're fantastic wrestlers. Somebody like that who he can help bring up, whether it's in a heel or a babyface way. Probably, hopefully on Raw. Maybe they'll allow Sammy back on SmackDown without Kevin and say, Sammy, maybe we feel like Kevin was a super bad influence on you and we'll take you back if you can beat Zack Ryder or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know where they're going with this. I like, as much as I don't want to see them go at it again, I kind of feel like at Backlash we're going to get that. Someone's winning a, contract out of the two. I feel like that
at
may
Backlash
be
101 again?
Yeah, maybe. And the winner goes to whatever show probably Raw.
And the loser?
More development to come.
What about like a loser? What about like a loser goes to NXT match? Does that devalue NXT?
Well, I thought that maybe like these guys could even pop up on NXT trying to get a job, but I know the tapings and stuff. There's a little conflict there.
Yeah.
So like I don't know how they.
What if it was like a loser has to go? Like, does that, like I said, devalue NXT? Does that make NXT feel like it's
a little
lesser than?
A little bit, I think, if you look at it like that, because it's kind of like loser leaves town, If you put it that way.
You don't want to leave town.
It'd be cool to see them show up on NXT trying to get a job, going to William Regal or something like that.
I think that would be awesome. I just don't know. Like they'd have to show that footage on Raw, and then it would be like, why? Because as much as like a lot of people love NXT and we all love it, like a third of the roster's watching that show. Yeah, or of the roster, sorry, a third of the fan base, if that, maybe less, is watching on a regular basis that show. So. It's not something where they could just show up and then everybody would immediately know where they were. A lot of fans would probably say, where did Kevin and Sammy go?
Yeah, we didn't get anything from them on SmackDown. We might get something of them popping up on the shakeup and trying to get a job there. Just,
show up
pleading their case to each GM.
Yeah.
I totally see one more match in the cards though for these guys. And as for Daniel Bryan, like, you think he's going to Raw?
I think he's destined for Raw, but that's because I think Shinsuke and AJ are going to continue. And like I said, you can't, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I don't think that Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles should be on the same show.
Well, I will make an early prediction, and we are going to get a triple threat at Backlash.
With the three of them?
For the title. Yeah.
For the title?
Yep. Regardless of where guys are going, that's what's happening, I think.
And Daniel Bryan is not eating a pin in that match. There's no way.
No, Nakamura probably gets the title there, I want to say.
I don't know. Somebody brought it up the other day, again off topic, but Nakamura is now 0-2 in his title challenges. I forgot that he made a run at Jinder and lost as well. So that kind of sucks for him being my favorite, probably in WWE at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go on to the next match. Again, guys, I know I say it all the time. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at PWLookBack. Let us know what you think. Give us ideas for the show and send us questions too. I know we don't really get a lot of questions, but that would be awesome if we could get some of those from you guys.
Yep, definitely check us out on all social media platforms. But next, she's not like most girls.
She's definitely not like most. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Nice way to start it. Yeah. Alexa Bliss, women's champion. Probably one of the best built stories matches on the card. It wasn't the best in the sense of what they were saying to each other, and some of it was a little crossing borders and blubber and fat jokes and stuff like that. But as far as actually having a story build, with a crescendo all the way to WrestleMania, one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Some of your opinions?
I like the build. I'm very, very curious to go back again. Like, what was the time of this? Because I think that this should have been a lot shorter than it was.
Shorter than it was.
For fucked up reasons.
We had this one clocked at 10 minutes, 15 seconds.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Have you ever... Do you remember... Okay, WrestleMania 17, we had... And I was thinking this, I remember, while watching this match live. Do you remember when Chyna faced Ivory at all?
It's been a long time. I've only watched that WrestleMania back once.
Okay, well... Chyna...
I know it's one of the best. I've watched the tag team match and obviously Rock and Austin back, but not that one specifically. No, I don't remember.
It was...
how long it was. Sorry.
It was like a squash. Almost. You know? And not to, like, discredit Alexa Bliss, but just, like...
This should have been a squash?
A little bit, yeah. I kind of wanted to just see Nia fucking toss her around. Like, when she did that fucking power slam...
Yeah.
She held her up. That was fucking great. Like, that's what I want to see from Nia.
It's good to see Nia over and popular, and the fans are into what she's doing as of late, and that's really good to see, you know what I mean?
She's going to need some good heels to work with after this, because I don't really know how I feel about her as a babyface yet. It's way too early for me to make, like,
It depends who comes out. I feel like the Iconics would have been a good...
Yeah.
Like, it would have been good to beat her up, too. Yeah. As cool as it was for her beating up Charlotte and Carmella cashing in and everything on SmackDown, we'll get to later.
Yep.
It could have been cool to have them show up and beat up Nia as well.
But you know what?
The match, you're right. It probably should have been shorter. The power slam, and I don't remember, like I said, we haven't gone into specifics of the actual matches, but more just the finishes.
Yeah.
I liked that Mickie James was out there.
Yep.
Alexa's entrance was pretty cool. They didn't do much.
I didn't do anything
with
special,
her entrance.
right?
No, nothing special. I mean, WrestleMania special. I mean, but yeah, going forward, we've got Nia. The next night on Raw, we had Nia with mystery tag team partner was Ember Moon.
Caught me off guard.
Yeah, big time. I remember even saying to you guys as we were watching the show, I'm like, oh, it's probably just going to be Dana Brooke or somebody. No discredit to Dana Brooke. I just mean somebody who's already on the roster who isn't going to be a surprise.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I was definitely shocked with Ember Moon coming out. I'm happy to see Nia with the title, and I think that Alexa could be on her way to SmackDown. If not, I think she's definitely going to take a backseat to the women's championship picture for a little while. She'll still be around, hopefully, and yeah.
I had a question too. Was Ember Moon a heel ever?
No, in. I actually talked to.
I could see her going at Nia quick, just doing it. I almost thought that was going to happen on Raw, like while watching that.
After the match, yeah, I could totally see her
brought
flipping.
her up, and then she's just gonna.
But no, she was a babyface when she fought against Asuka, because Asuka was more of the heel as much as she was, a fan favorite. She was still billed as the heel, and then she was definitely a big babyface against Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out Shayna Baszler. Congrats on winning the NXT Women's Championship on Saturday night at TakeOver New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when I think about it, Alexa Bliss did the right heel things, which, you know what? Like, I don't know, some of the guys need to fucking take some pointers from her. Like, she was gouging the eyes and doing those type of things. Being the smaller of the two, like, that all made sense to me, which
everything she did made sense with the size difference.
Yeah.
But you're right. Looking at this on paper, it really should be a squash match as much as Alexa's, credible champion and been champion for a long time.
What was the top rope move they did in this match? There was a top rope spot, I remember.
Alexa might have did.
Was it a backdrop? No, Nia went up there too. Was it a backdrop?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, it was a backdrop. I know what you're talking about. Now. I can't remember what corner. I feel like it was probably in the right back corner from the hard camera view. But good spots.
I remember
and,
liking that spot for the two of them.
And like you said, the one that to me I think that stands out, you mentioned, is the gorilla press where she had her above her head.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely the standout moment from the match.
How did she beat her? What was the final, the finishing move?
I think she got her with her leg drop. She's still
Was that
still
it? Yeah,
doing the leg
she's still
drop.
doing
No?
that. Okay.
It was either that or a Samoan drop, one or the other. But I would imagine the leg drop.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually,
I feel like it's bad that I don't remember, but 7.5 hour show, guys. 7.5 hour show.
Oh yeah. And by this point,
By this point, I had a few drinks in me and lots of food. I made lots of food. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go on. I think, like I said, going forward, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Nia and the U.S. Or the U.S. Where am I? The women's championship, the title that she's going to have there on Raw. I like your idea with Ember turning heel. I think that's definitely a possibility. At the same time, though, I'd like to see Ronda be put into that picture relatively soon. We'll talk about that match in a minute, but we'll move on right to the next, the women's championship. The SmackDown Women's Championship. Possible match of the night, I'd say. Definitely up there. Top 2, top 3. Charlotte versus Asuka. Charlotte Women's Champion defending against the undefeated Empress of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
No one is ready for Asuka. Well,
definitely from a singles standpoint, like this was probably my favorite match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
From a singles standpoint, I have to agree. We'll get to maybe my match of the night in a minute after, maybe not a minute, but
this was one of the better pure like wrestling matches on the show. How long did this one? I know, so I keep doing it at the beginning, but
that's fine. I like that you're getting the time out at the beginning so we can talk about that.
Because I feel like this should like.
Take a guess. I got it here for you.
What I think is like maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna say 15 to 12, like 12 to 15, right?
13:05.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly, kind of in the range that you were.
But it could have gone 20.
Oh, easily.
Like
easily.
I feel like
the match was good, and I know what we talked about on our WrestleMania hype show back in March. You were worried if the chemistry between these two.
I said that to you right after this match finished.
Yeah,
I was loving this match.
Yeah,
dude.
I think the chemistry was definitely there.
Yeah, I said it to you right after. I was like, you know what? I was worried, but that was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like I really enjoyed it.
Yep. It was a good match.
Like not only because I'm a Charlotte fan and she won.
No, and I like the story that they told, not only in the match but just overall, as kind of Asuka would ask her every week, and show her. She'd beat somebody up and say, "You're not ready for Asuka," blah 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 blah. And Charlotte was just confident. Charlotte to me exudes confidence, and she exuded confidence throughout the build towards this match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know before SmackDown had happened, I was kind of thinking maybe we'd get a heel Charlotte now. I don't think that's happening anymore.
Well, I think
because of what happened. I don't think she's going back to Raw.
You don't think so? That's what I was just going to say. I think she's going back to Raw. I know I didn't mention it when we did our little mini guesses for the predictions for the shakeup, but I think she might be headed back to Raw. I don't know where Asuka's going to be, if Asuka's going to be a part of Raw or SmackDown, or if she's going to stay on SmackDown, or if she goes back to Raw because she didn't win.
I can see Asuka going to SmackDown like permanently.
Yeah, because in my eyes,
I don't think Charlotte's leaving though. Like,
the fact
Carmella,
that
she's got to battle it out with Carmella a little bit, who just kind of, and I'm not super excited for it, but that's
I guess we should talk about
and
that.
the girls that jumped her as well.
So yeah, we'll get into it. So the next night we had Charlotte winning, which was unexpected. I think a lot of the people that were watching it with us were shocked. Asuka's, she had the longest undefeated streak in the history of professional wrestling. It's kind of a pretty cool thing for her to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, she loses. She taps out to Charlotte, and and they have a dramatic ending and hugging. And
I could have done without that Asuka grabbing the mic, though. I could have done without that.
Her telling her that
Yeah,
Charlotte was ready for Asuka.
Yeah,
I could have done without that, but I also could have done without John Cena coming and running up the ramp, like we mentioned before, in the middle of this, and having his moment be interjected.
Yeah, well, I told you I didn't want John Cena. That whole change of clothes, I didn't like that either. Like that, he should have just stayed in the t-shirt and jeans, even if they had the match. Like, fuck, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't want to get back. We talked enough about John Cena and Undertaker, but yeah. So we go to SmackDown 2 nights later. We have Charlotte in the ring, kind of talking, thanking everyone, giving Asuka her credit, and happy for her win and her defeating of Asuka at WrestleMania. We had the iconic duo Peyton Royce and Billie Kay from NXT debut. show up, kind of beat the living hell out of Charlotte,
Yeah.
and get their heel heat, even though the crowd was loving them. We'll see how that goes forward.
Well, that's
what I was gonna say. I think
that crazy post-Mania crowd.
Yeah, Bizarro World that does everything normal except for booze Roman Reigns, which is a totally different topic. Shout out to Becky Lynch. We got the pre-show playing in the background while we record, and she was looking fantastic at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But
hopefully big things to come for her.
Hopefully they remember that she's on the roster. I mean, they remember to give her an entrance, but yeah, I don't want to get off topic. We had them attacking Charlotte on SmackDown, and then we had Carmella. Finally, it popped me and Younger. We were watching it. We kind of totally forgot for a minute that the cash-in was possible. She comes down, and Mike Chioda, the referee,
about 10 minutes.
Took about 10 minutes
to realize what was happening.
Yeah, it was more just I didn't understand why Mike Chioda didn't understand. It really made no fucking sense at all.
That was the longest,
to be honest,
cash-in in history.
I don't know if they were trying to build suspense towards Charlotte's going to kick out now because it's taken so long. I know now with the last 2 cash-ins, they always make sure the person is standing, like the opposer, or not the opposer. Sorry, the champion at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So with this match, they waited until Charlotte was on her feet to
she was wobbling.
To bring the yeah. Same thing with Baron Corbin. I remember that. I don't know about Sheamus when he cashed in against Roman. I don't remember.
Did Sheamus cash on Roman?
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, he did. That was
it was a very unforgettable
series.
one. But yeah. Well, I'm just being completely honest. You didn't remember, but anyway, so yeah, that's something new that they're doing, I guess now. But yeah, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay were great. I've been a big fan of them in NXT for a while, and it was nice to see them finally up. Yeah, Carmella wins. Carmella's the champion. Like I said, I think Charlotte's on her way to Raw, buddy.
No, man. Ruby Riott will go to Raw. We need she was just there. That's my whole point. Like, I don't know if WWE pays attention to this stuff, but to me, it was like yesterday that Charlotte was on Raw, and she did everything. Like, it got played out. It was like the New Day with that fucking tag title reign that they had. Like, I don't want to see New Day back on Raw.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? Like, it feels like yesterday.
I hate to always say that, but you're not.
Like, her and Sasha, like, how many fucking months on end?
Well, maybe Sasha will leave.
Well, that's what I think. Sasha or Bayley's going over to SmackDown, and Becky is going to Raw. Like, we'll get two and two type of deal.
I just hope we don't get like Charlotte staying on SmackDown and then Sasha coming over, and then we basically get Sasha and Bayley, but with Bayley being replaced by Charlotte on SmackDown. I don't want any of that to happen. But anything else to say? I know this was a big match. Overall,
yeah, Charlotte's entrance was fucking great.
Yeah,
we talked about that with the whole Ric Flair.
I'm happy you brought that up. The Ric Flair, her dad's music, 2001 Space Odyssey, music at the beginning was amazing. I think even cooler than that was the fact, I know everybody knows this because we've all seen the documentary, but them playing off her being in Triple H's entrance at WrestleMania 30 in the same building 4 years later, the same exact thing. I thought that was awesome. Good for WWE for doing that, and it's got to feel cool for Charlotte, I have to say.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, and like back to the whole entrance thing, like this was one of the only like big entrances on this whole WrestleMania. Like, what happened? I thought WrestleMania was the whole big spectacle. Like, we didn't get a lot of that. Even with Triple H, the man who's known for having the fucking big time entrances.
About the bigger entrances, and obviously if I can't think of
Charlotte's was the biggest entrance on the show. Like Brock and Roman, nobody, AJ, and I guess Nakamura had a little bit of a performance going on.
Yeah, with the guitarist, which was cool. With Triple H,
Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, like there was nothing too crazy.
It sucks, but like, I still thought the show was pretty good.
Maybe the New Day with the pancakes. That was pretty memorable.
Oh fuck me. I remember, but that was fucking brutal. Like, I don't want to get upset on the show, but that was fucking horrible. That was one of the worst entrances I've seen at WrestleMania in a long time. I'm sorry. That was especially because like they've set the bar high.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And they don't set the bar. They're not the person that sets the bar. But
and what about
their entrance? They're not the bar either.
What about the bar coming out with the float?
Yeah, back to the tag team at the beginning of the show. We'll talk about that quickly. That was solely for the purpose of Braun Strowman throwing the float.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
They would not have come out on that if Strowman wasn't coming out after to chuck the float off the stage. But back to
another one of those things. I hate to say it again, but like not needed really. Like I see Braun Strowman. We get it. He flips trucks, ambulances, and fucking
everything.
Pushes Roman Reigns down a flight of stairs. Like we get it. I didn't need to see him do that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just
back
surprised
to entrances.
I just
think like
this year.
I think some of the matches
didn't call for it.
Yeah, and outshined it. Like I think I know this wasn't a overall highly regarded and praised show, but I enjoyed this show, and I'm normally an entrance guy too, and I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So I feel like they must have done something else to distract me. The set was pretty nice. Yeah, not much to complain about there, honestly.
I don't know. I personally was thinking about it like the entire show. I was
Really?
I was kind of waiting for that big entrance. Like Charlotte's to
And
me.
I guess Charlotte's
watching
was the
it, I
one.
was glued, feeling like, oh, this is cool. I thought Finn Balor would have did something a lot bigger. He didn't.
Yeah, well, he had the whole Pride entrance and stuff, which was something. I mean, it wasn't his normal entrance.
Yeah.
They put more money into that than they,
That's true,
they did, Miz's entrance. For I don't know how much Miz's
It's unfortunate that they couldn't
cost.
capitalize on the demon thing though right now.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
think
next
that
year.
would have been
no,
right, though.
no, not right. I wouldn't want to have it rushed
I'm happy
in.
though. I'm happy that because when he first came up from NXT, like they really were pushing that. Like they were making him be the demon when he didn't need to be the demon. And there was a couple pay-per-views where he
Really?
was
Did you
yeah,
think so?
when he first
Well, he did it at every takeover, I remember. Like he would do it at all the takeovers.
Yeah, but takeover's not every month.
Yeah.
There's like 4 to
Did he do it
6
outside of that?
takeovers
Like
a year.
was that necessary?
I can't. I feel like now you're putting me on the spot.
Sorry,
but
no.
no. I can't. Like I just remember when he first came into WWE when he was called up. Like there was times where he was just demon to be demon. Like thank God we never got the demon versus Sister Abigail, and that was the best thing ever. Was Bray getting sick at that time, because that would have been horrible. We still would have been Bray with that fucking face paint and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're getting super off topic. Overall, the entrances, you're right, they were flat this year. But I feel like Mania was a little better, so that kind of made up for it. But if it's something you were thinking about the whole time, then I can't take that away from you, right?
Yeah.
I guess, like I said, we'll close it out after talking about entrances. But Charlotte Asuka was a really good match, probably the singles match of the night. And I think now we'll move on to probably my match of the night, the big superstar match. Superstar power.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Definitely felt like the crowd was super into this one as well, like along with...
Yeah, but it wasn't prior. Like, they were at the beginning, but I mean, I think it was what they did in the match that sucked the people in.
Ronda got a good reaction when she came out.
Oh, yeah, and her gear, her little Rowdy Piper tribute was awesome. I thought she was looking really cute.
Yeah.
Looking nice. Stephanie looking great as well.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie and Triple H's entrance I found a little underwhelming, not in the sense of entrances, but in the sense of Triple H and Stephanie entrances. Like, if we look back at WrestleMania 32, that entrance was unbelievable. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was unbelievable from a production value standpoint.
Well, that goes back to my whole thing of, like, this year, just with the entrances in general, we didn't get a lot of crazy production value.
Yeah. I just think that you mentioned it earlier, not on the show, but just to me, I think it's maybe a cost and a budget thing with the entrances that we talked about.
Yeah. I
think they're just trying to save money where they can, and that's a small little thing that they can do to save a little money. But on to the match. It was awesome. It was like you said, the crowd was super into it. Everybody bought in. All the people that we had over to my place to watch the show that aren't big wrestling fans, they bought into this match.
I think a lot of people knew Ronda Rousey too.
Exactly, right? So it's the name value. I'm sure that there was definitely some people that bought the network or, got WrestleMania for free, however you want to look at it. They bought it because of Ronda Rousey. They wanted to see what she had to do. And
Dana White.
Yeah, Dana White at ringside after the match. Yeah. We talked about it as well before recording. There was a lot of mixed fighting. Like, you had Triple H pulling Ronda from inside the ring to outside the ring, which was weird. Like, that
was the start of it all.
Yeah, and then you had Triple H putting her in for a pedigree and almost a power bomb into a Hurricane Rana. Kurt Angle giving Stephanie McMahon a ankle lock.
Yeah,
a lot of mixed, women and men fighting that we don't see a lot nowadays, especially with the mixed match challenge just happening, and we saw almost none of it.
None of it, yeah, not really.
But
or if we did, it was more the women executing moves on the guys or slapping the guys. Yeah,
exactly. My match of the night, honestly, just from a performance standpoint, I'm sure every punch, every kick was choreographed in this match. I don't think there was much ad-libbing to be done here.
Yeah.
I think whatever, you know what I mean? That's fine. As long as it's put together well, which they did. They put together the match perfectly fine, and I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, though. You got to wonder now what happens with Ronda next. Are we worried at all? Because this match was probably so well planned out and well rehearsed that are we going to get, what do we get now from Ronda? What's it going to be like to see her?
I said this to you again. I'm
she did well. I loved
she
it.
Did great. I think the show aspect of it, like I said, from a performance standpoint, from getting the crowd involved, executing the moves that she needed to execute, it was all there.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you now, is she going to be like a Brock Lesnar? Are we going to see her once every 4 or 5 months on a big show? Is she going to be at house shows? Is she going to be on Raw wrestling Dana Brooke? Not, again, to bring up Dana Brooke, but she's, a Raw wrestler. She's not above, she's not below. She's kind of just, in the middle category of divas, I guess.
You think she'll get shaken up?
Over to SmackDown? No, I don't think so. Like I mentioned before, Raw's the A show to Vince and to Triple H and Stephanie.
Yeah, so no, I totally wouldn't hear it. Was
I'm just curious if she's going to be on, frequently. Like, is she going to be on Raw every week, whether it's a talking segment? And, does the Charlotte beating Asuka, does that mean we're going to see Charlotte and Ronda next year at WrestleMania for a potential first ever women main eventing the show?
Yeah,
is that a possibility now? Like, you know what I mean?
I guess it depends where Ronda goes from here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what we got after Mania was her
and Stephanie again in the ring, and her kind of beating up Stephanie, giving her another armbar, which was cool. Stephanie came out with the sling on and the cast and all the, the whole 9 yards, selling it the next night on Raw. But it was good. I think that the story that they told leading into WrestleMania, the match itself, and then Raw, I think it all worked out pretty probably the way they wanted and pretty well.
Yeah. What did you think of Kurt Angle in this match?
Kurt Angle and the Graps.
The Grap.
Yeah, the one Grap. Well, Kurt Angle, I gotta be honest, Kurt Angle's probably my favorite wrestler of all time. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, as a guy that I gravitated to, I caught more of the tail end of his career. I saw more of his ECW and world heavyweight title SmackDown run. But he was always somebody that I loved. Like, he was just a big fan of mine. Me watching him for the past year as general manager has kind of changed my perception of him. It's kind of gone down. I hate to say it, but I'm just being honest. I don't think the acting he's done and the performances he's done in backstage segments on Raw has been anywhere up to par of what Kurt Angle's capable of, or was capable of. Whether or not he still is, I don't know. I'm not going to make that assumption, but yeah, I think he did pretty good in the match, and I think we know that Triple H and him were in this match to be the buffers, to be the savior. You can't just put Ronda and Stephanie alone on the big stage with no help. I think that's the main reason we got them there, and they did their jobs. I mean, I think Kurt did all the spots aside from that one. When he got pushed into Ronda, I think he hit her a little hard with the shoulder. It was probably a little harder than they intended, but that's going to happen when you're doing a live performance.
Yeah,
that wrestling is.
I don't know. Looking at it now from a different scale to how many matches has Kurt done? He did the TLC with the Shield thing, right?
Survivor
Series, now this.
And then he is scheduled to be in the 50-man Royal Rumble, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I've yet to see that.
Greatest Royal Rumble ever, by the way.
Like, I know he hasn't been a full, active wrestler on the roster like a Daniel Bryan is going to be now.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know, it's a little, he's been almost, I don't want to say misused, but, like, I haven't seen that breakout match from Kurt Angle yet. Like, I want to see that one-on-one good Kurt Angle, which I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah.
Now.
I don't know if it's possible, but I was gonna get to it. You hadn't asked me yet, but what do you think this one was clocked at?
I'm gonna say, well, if the Charlotte, this is anywhere from 12 to 15, probably, right?
Oh, a little more. We had 20 minutes, 40 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, 20-minute match. I mean,
Triple H getting all,
I was just gonna say
the game is getting all the
it's
time.
Triple H. All respect to everything he's done for the business, but we know he likes long matches. We like just to drag it out.
But this is not a long match by a Triple H standard, in my opinion.
But you know what?
But it's the longest.
It isn't
match
a long
on the
match
card.
by the Triple H standard, but by the WrestleMania 34 standard, this was
it the longest match?
This was the longest match on the show.
That's fucked.
20 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's fucked up.
We had one match that was longer, which we will get to. 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
my
20
rating
seconds.
has changed completely on this WrestleMania. Like I've lowered my.
We'll
rating.
get to that at the end of the show. Like I said at the beginning, I wanted to get a 10-point scale rating from you then, and then
I gave it a 6.5. I was being nice
at the end, but
I was being kind when I did that.
Any other final thoughts on the big, in my opinion, the show stealer, the triple threat?
Shout out to Stephanie McMahon too. She did well. I thought she did well.
First ever WrestleMania match.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people probably thought that she would have,
Yeah, it was good. It was a good tag team match. Like I said, I think it was right to choose it as a tag team match.
And the placement was great.
The placement was fantastic, right in the middle of the card. I like this. I think this worked. I think Kurt Angle being the GM, her picking Kurt Angle, the Olympic, connection. I think that worked. I think a year ago, maybe whenever it happened, 3 years ago with The Rock and stuff, people probably would have preferred to have The Rock and Ronda fighting Triple H and Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, I think this is better with Kurt Angle because of the association that Kurt Angle's been on the brand for a year now.
Yeah.
He's been in the Olympics and he's a real wrestler just like Ronda. I would have rather seen this now, like I said, in hindsight, Kurt Angle and Ronda opposed to The Rock.
I'm not going to nitpick it or whatever, but I not to say that I would have rather seen, but like I still think The Rock, it would have been pretty cool.
It probably would have been more publicized and everything. I just don't think The Rock would have been as invested in and around as Kurt Angle has been.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You know what I mean? It would have been a little tougher to build
to work it around that.
Have your contract signings and The Rock in the ring for that type of stuff. I don't know if it would have.
We don't get a lot of The Rock now, man, and I've heard this on another show as well, which I'm not gonna say too much, but I wonder what the relationship's like between him and WWE, because we didn't get anything from him on the Raw 25.
Yeah, I was gonna.
We didn't get anything from him at this WrestleMania.
Nothing at Raw 25.
Like the most we got was that little commercial for the Page movie,
which I don't know.
That's another that all.
We don't need to talk about that, but go see that movie at your own discretion.
I'll be there, man. First day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Infinity War, it's up there. They're going to be rivaling for movie of 2018.
But yeah, we don't get. I don't know what The Rock's relationship's like with the WWE. But I would have liked, to see them go that route too. But this totally made sense, and they made it work.
Yeah,
and I'm very, very curious to see what happens with. I don't know, with Kurt Angle too. Like, is he still we talked about this a bit off the record too? Like, is he still going to be the GM for much longer?
I don't. I think he might be, but I don't necessarily think he should be. But at the same time, I said to you earlier, like you said, I don't want to not have Kurt Angle around at all.
Yeah, no.
If I have to choose between him staying as GM or no Kurt Angle at all, I want him as GM because I want him around.
Yeah. If
he's not going to be GM, do something with a tag team. Do something with somebody. You know what I mean? Take Jason Jordan under your wing and walk. You know what I mean? Something.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him. He's hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back eventually. We didn't get any big cast tonight. We didn't get any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But, I think it's good to look back at this match and with a little bit of hindsight and appreciate it for what it was, because I definitely think this one drew me in the most watching it for the first time watching it live. But we can probably move on. I mean, that was pretty much all there is to say. Like I said, my match of the show. And
yeah, it's just crazy to me that these two tag matches involving the McMahons were the big crowd drawers.
More or less.
They really were. The crowd was into the Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, and the Stephanie McMahon. They were really into these matches.
Agreed.
And I mean, our crowd as well, of the people we were watching WrestleMania.
Yeah, with a lot of casual fans, right? Non-fans, for sure. Next, This is one of the big ones. This, to me, could have easily main evented the show.
Oh, no. Now after seeing it, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. What should have been the main event? But.
I don't say that because of the match that we got. Mm-hmm. I just say that because of the star power, and I feel like they would have raised their game up a little bit, and people's perceptions would have been changed, and I don't care what anyone says. They would have thought different if it went on last.
Yeah.
I think people's opinion of this match would have been a little higher than it was. Shinsuke Nakamura challenging AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble this year. It was kind of a babyface feud going into Mania all the way through, which is kind of a battle of respect.
Yeah.
Showing respect for one another. We had, AJ on SmackDown getting teased by Nakamura, almost hitting a Kinshasa a few weeks going in prior to Mania and teasing it, patting him on the head. And then the next week later, we had AJ doing the same thing with the phenomenal forearm. Yeah. So, they had their cheekiness and their getting on each other's skin, playing mind games and stuff. So it was a cool build going in. It was different to see the double babyface, for a Mania. Usually you get babyface and heels going at one another at Mania, but that was cool to see. Anything you want to say about the match at first?
Yeah. So this, I've been waiting all week to say this since we talked about doing this podcast. To me, I remember before going into WrestleMania, I was worried about the Charlotte Asuka match and how the chemistry and everything would be there. Like that match, it did really well, and this match that I was so excited for and I was really looking forward to it, and it just I don't know if it was because I was tired by it. This show was so fucking long, and by the time literally when this match started, like I was having a hard time, not because of the performance, but I was having a hard time keeping my eyes open by this point of the show.
Just because of the long game.
Yeah, just not due to the match. Like I had to stand up and watch the majority of the match.
Yeah, I definitely think if AJ and Nakamura have 6 gears, I think Nakamura was in the 4th gear and AJ was maybe in the 5th gear for this match. I don't think that they busted out everything that they can or could.
I wouldn't even say that.
You know what I mean?
If there was 6, was this maybe what, 3 or 2?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think the placement didn't help it, man. I don't like that semi-co-main event, like where it's a big match and then a smaller match and then a big match. I don't know.
Could have just went back to back.
Yeah, like in my opinion, I've said this in the past. If you have 2 main events, then put them back to back, and they're the 2 main events. You don't need a buffer. I understand people got to go to the washroom and you got to take them on a ride up and down.
But hey, give us that during the promo package.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a WrestleMania promo video and give us 10 minutes of what we've seen so far. We get that enough on Raw. Yeah. Before the main event with Brock and Roman. But I don't know. I think this match could have been obviously more. It's 2 of my favorite guys in the company, especially Nakamura. I'm a huge fan. I don't know. There's not much to say. I liked the back and forth. Like it wasn't very one-sided.
Yeah.
It was kind of back and forth all the way through.
But there was nothing that really stood out to me.
But I really didn't know who was going to win either. You know what I mean? It was one of the matches on the show
that I can say
I really had no idea who was going to win. Mm-hmm. What were you going to say? It stuck out to you. Sorry.
No, I said there wasn't really like a standout moment other than like the obvious turn at the end.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to get to. So we had AJ winning clean. Nakamura delivers him the title kind of on one knee. And we weren't sure if it was coming. I think some people, when we were watching it, thought maybe he's going to turn here. But then, we get Nakamura with the low blow. And I got to be honest with you. I said this to you guys before. This is one of the times, and it's hard nowadays with podcasts that we do and people way better than us, giving us information about stuff and
all the websites.
Yeah, websites and dirt sheets and all this kind of, and looking at matches from more of a booking perspective rather than just a fan's perspective or from a storyline perspective. But I gotta say, watching this, seeing Shinsuke turn, I've only seen Shinsuke as a babyface. I've watched 2 matches, 3 maybe in New Japan that he had, and that was just the matches. It's not like I watched storyline build up. So all I've seen is babyface Shinsuke, which was amazing in NXT, not so amazing on the main roster. But I just think it crushed me, honestly. Like, I watched this happen, and it was like, yeah, this is awesome, cool, heel turn. But I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling like why? What do you mean?
Yeah, you said...
You know, it kind of... But not why in a, why are you guys booking this? It in a true sense of the, why did you just do that, Shinsuke?
Yeah.
This guy, why? I thought you respected each other. This guy just had an amazing match. He beat you fair and square. You kind of look like a sore loser. You're supposed to be the babyface guy that I cheer for because you're, you know, respectful and honorable. I really felt bought in.
Yeah.
And that, exactly, yeah. Like, that alone to me tells me something. It's like, if I was bought in that much to begin with, then clearly they did something right. If I had bought into the characters already for them to make me feel that way with a heel turn. But, I don't know. I've been flapping my gums for a while about this one.
No.
Anything else? I mean, we don't have to talk too much about it. I know we can go into what happened on SmackDown if you want, but... I
don't know. I don't know if it was the placement and so late and how I was feeling, but I don't know. I think the expectation was so high, maybe, for me. I really was really Black Panthered on this one, you know? It was a little inside joke.
Yeah, you set the bar too high.
Which
happens.
But I'm glad for the turn, and I think that Shinsuke needs this, and I hope to God that like this fixes it, because man, I've still yet to see that fire out of him on the main roster too. Even in this match, I thought this match was going to be the one that would kind of
change it,
bring that out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean,
but I think he will get the title, and we'll see the heel Shinsuke do some damage. Hopefully,
yeah, we'll see. I kind of hope he comes over to Raw. Not only because it's more of the show that I watch on a frequent basis, but I just think it's a good change of pace. But we'll go to what happened on SmackDown before we get into the big main event of the night. That pains me to say that, but the big main event later. We had a little treat from our new general manager on SmackDown page with AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I mean, a match that's happened, you know, probably in front of 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, 200 people, other places all around the world, but never in WWE. So it was cool to see that. Like I said earlier, I think that's kind of foreshadowing in the sense that they're going to split them up, and that they need to split them up because they can't be, to me, in my opinion, they're too similar to be on the same show right now.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now. AJ is a heel, sure. Totally. AJ heel against Daniel Bryan too. That's another.
Yeah.
Could be something. But they wrestled, I want to say, 13 minutes, 12 minutes on SmackDown before Nakamura showed up and Kinshasa, both of them, beat them both up. Kind of get more heel heat, which he's getting. I mean, the crowd's booing him. So, yeah, I don't know. Your thoughts on the SmackDown portion of this
I just kind
match?
of, like I said, whatever direction this ends up going, like I still feel like we will get a triple threat out of this. Like I can almost guarantee that we will get a triple threat at Backlash with these guys. Because you don't have Shinsuke Nakamura like attack both of them and then Daniel Bryan just gets shipped off. Like even if he does, he will still be.
I totally see your point. I just, from the way that I'm looking at it, the reason he did that is because like it's one of those things where like the fans, is a dream match. We love this. This is our two guys, and like how do we put more heel heat on Shinsuke? Well, have him fuck up the dream match.
Yeah.
On you know what I mean. The dream match was at WrestleMania, but you know what I mean. Another dream match between two fantastic wrestlers on SmackDown. But yeah, I agree and disagree kind of, because I don't necessarily think that it has to lead to a triple threat. Probably will.
Yeah, it
but I still have hope that Shinsuke can show up on Monday Night Raw and see what goes from there. But overall, I was disappointed to see Shinsuke not only lose but turn, as a big Shinsuke fan. But like you said, hopefully this opens up more doors for Shinsuke and matches and potential feuds to see in the future. Well, it's that time.
The main event.
Time for the big dog and the beast incarnate. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Show stealer.
Roman Reigns in his fourth consecutive WrestleMania main event. Now that's, I've been watching wrestling again now back here for 4 years. That's 31, 32, 33, and 34. And I've seen Roman main event all of them.
He hasn't won them all.
No.
To be,
he didn't win the first one. You know, he Vince changed his mind. And
1-2, lost 2. That's okay.
Yeah.
I guess, like, I don't, you know.
I'm not more concerned about the wins and losses because WWE isn't as of late. So I'm more concerned with, like, you know, who... I don't even want to get into this, to be honest. Like, I'm just sick and tired of him finishing the show every time. And obviously I was ecstatic with the way they finished this show.
Yeah.
But I just don't think this had to be the last match. Now, with the way they closed it, I guess that's why it was the last match. Because it was Swerve-a-Mania tonight. Or then. But, yeah, I don't know. It's not that I hate Roman. I'm not a Roman hater. I'm just... And it's not even that I'm sick of being shoved down my throat. I'm just... To me, he doesn't exude confidence. He doesn't have exceptional promo ability. It's not like he's AJ Styles or even Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens in the ring. He's just not the guy. Like, you know what I mean? To me, personally, I don't think he's the guy to be building your company around. He's a guy to have in your company.
You know what? Like, I think about this more often now. Like, we're talking about him, though. And so is everybody else.
Yeah, but...
Like, isn't that what they want, like, ultimately? But we're still talking about him, like...
But it's because
like,
of...
I'm not... Like, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not, like...
You know what I mean? Like, if
he's not my favorite by far, you know?
If he had the same push that... I was going to say Dean Ambrose, but even Seth Rollins... If he even had the same push that Seth Rollins has had, minus his injury, over the last 4 years, we wouldn't be talking about him as much. And it's like, yeah, I know I'd sound like all the other... He's pushing him down my throat too much, but it's... Like, it's true. It's what we see. It's perception is a part of it, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not a hater. I'm just sick of finishing closing main events of WrestleMania. Like, you deserve to earn that spot and not just be given it. And I think he's earned 1, maybe 2, but I don't know if you could say he's earned the right to main event 4 in a row. But I don't want to get caught up on all main event and why it's the main event talk. The match itself was...
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I was probably the biggest fan amongst the Pro Wrestling LookBack crew. I just liked that it felt like a fight, which was similar to their first one. Like, that's what I said this on our hype show. I wasn't dreading the match. I was just dreading this closing the show again.
But the first one was a lot better, too, I thought.
A little bit, but I
like,
really...
This was a lot of that, you know, as you say, the Triple H, like the outside fucking... steps and blood.
Yeah, Roman did a lot of selling and stuff too, though. I don't know. Like, the match, to me, it was more big time. And, like, at this point, like... Well, here, let me ask you this.
Fuck, too,
well, yeah, WrestleMania is 7.5 hours. We went through it enough. But, to me, do you think Roman was ready for the title when he was supposed to win at 31? Because, like, to me, this match seems big time. It's not that I'm trying to say... that this isn't big time and this is a small, like, you know, small match. Mm-hmm. I just, like, I don't know. I just don't want it to close the show.
So what would you have rather closed this Mania? Like, would you have rather...
Shinsuke and AJ.
Same outcome?
Yeah, same outcome. Shinsuke and AJ.
So Shinsuke still
we
doing
haven't even said it. Brock Lesnar wins, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure if you're listening to our show, you know.
Yeah.
But Brock won. Roman kicked out of 5 F5s and Brock won and shocked the building just like he did 4 years earlier when he beat Undertaker in the same building.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, you could shock.
But were we shocked? Like, I wasn't. Like, man, by the time he hit the third one, I was kind of like, you know what? Brock might actually win tonight. Like, it's not going to be the predictable bop that I thought.
That's personal, you know what I mean? Opinions.
Yeah, no, for me.
While I was watching, no, man. Like, he could have kicked out of 7, and I would have still thought he was going to win. I thought when at the final sequence of the match, when Roman did his patented bounce off both ropes, go for the spear, I thought that was it. It was deja vu for me. It was like, oh, this is what I've been seeing for the last 4 years. Bounce, spear, 1, 2, 3, flip the hair back, and yeah. And
I'm not, okay, like, again, devil's advocate. Like, but dude, what did Brock do, man? Brock didn't do fuck all either in this match. Like, F5, little elbow, and like...
He did some belly-to-bellies outside, and he sold a bit for Roman, too. They tried to go... Or Brock put Roman through a table, too, outside the ring, which was one of the 5 F5s.
Yeah.
And...
I don't know, I just was not a fan of this
at this
match.
point, Brock is what he is. Like, he's... It sounds horrible. He's just his own entity. Like, he's literally, like...
No, but see that
Enigma.
he is what he is. But
I
I
don't
was
care.
highly
Jeff Hardy's not the
I was highly
Enigma. Like,
entertained with the AJ Styles Brock Lesnar match, and he was still Brock there, but I don't know if it's maybe because he was working with AJ, but like I don't. He just seems like he doesn't give a fuck, and I'm tired. I'm so tired of it, man. I just hope they're ready to switch this up a bit. I want to see some different stuff.
Well, I think they know and we won't keep any.
Like, I like Brock
we won't keep
as an
any
attraction.
listeners in the dark. We have the show, the match on for
Yeah.
this. We wanted to get this full, have it playing in the background while we talk to you guys about our thoughts about this one. But the crowd was not into this, and we don't have the volume on, obviously. But I remember, and
Yeah.
between this is awful chants. I don't remember any of the other chants, but none of them were good. And I heard at
CM
one point
Punk.
there was, CM Punk, that's a given. I heard at one point there was 10 to 12 beach balls in the crowd going when this match was on. Which, like, I don't know about you, but, like, I would feel like a bag of shit if I was in the ring. And I don't think Brock gives a flying shit, but who cares? Like, I wouldn't either if I was Brock. Like, it's his real life, but that's also his character. Like, you know what I mean? I know that's who he is in real life, but to me, that's also who he does. He's here because no one can beat him. He's not here, as in the words of John Cena, did I entertain you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's here because he's the best. Not like in my booking, like, he's the best wrestler right now. He's the best. He's the reason he's the champion. And you know what I mean when I say that. I don't mean I think he's the best. He's not AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, he's here because he's the champion, and that's why he shows up to work, because no one can take the belt away from him. And I know it's all a show, but that's the way I look at it.
I don't know.
The crowd was just definitely not into this, and right there we have Brock going over the top rope and landing, selling outside and bumping, like actually bumping, which is nice to see from Brock. But I don't know any like other major points.
I just didn't like it, man, at all. I really hated it, actually.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, like I didn't.
Well, I got to be honest. Like, if
I don't know, I was tired.
If Roman went over, I probably wouldn't be as happy.
Yeah,
but I just really I can't
you like the outcome.
Well, when that happened, you saw me. I got up out of my seat and almost did a swanton onto the table because I was so excited. Just because it was a swerve and it was a genuine moment of I didn't predict that.
Yeah.
And I know it's just a wrestling match, but it made me feel good. I was happy. It was something that I genuinely was happy about. And the match, like you said, it was nothing special. It was all over the outside of the ring, but it was gritty. It was more of a fight than a match, which sometimes I like, because it's when you have those matches, and I know I'm not a big Triple H match guy, but when you have those types of matches, they're almost more storytelling, because it's like you're telling the story. It's like when you're watching a movie and a fight happens in a movie. Like, the fight is a part of the story. It's not just moves. And I like that aspect of it, but I don't know. I don't know how much we want to go into it. I mean, we can talk about what happened on Raw with Roman and Joe the next night.
Oh, yeah, totally. Forgot about that.
Because we had Roman come out to the ring, major boos, as we were expecting on the night after WrestleMania, because, he was booed throughout the entire match at WrestleMania. He lost. The crowd popped like crazy when Brock beat him. The unbeatable heel champion beat him, and the crowd went nuts. We had our WrestleMania recap, and then we had more Roman at the end of Mania. Remember this?
Yeah.
They cut back to Roman in the ring, not sobbing, but kind of, disgruntled and walking back up the ramp, and his music playing. And I guess technically Roman closed the show, not as the winner, but he, the show went off the air with Roman. But yeah, going to Raw, we had the next night, Roman comes out to a bunch of boos, like I said, the night after Mania crowd, and we had Samoa Joe make his return. Joe,
Yeah.
Bomp, bomp, bomp.
It's good to see him back.
and challenge him at Backlash, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Joe getting intertwined in this? And if you want, I'll inject it. I want to hear your thoughts. Is Roman going to beat Brock at the 50 Greatest Man Royal Rumble, Saudi Arabia match that we've had be announced since the Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, I think
Steel cage, I might add.
yeah. I think he's winning it. Yeah, I do think Roman's going to win. And I think that's maybe why. Well, Joe kind of said, you know, win or lose to Brock, like, I'm here waiting for you next. Whether you, like, he didn't say whether you win the title or not, but he said, you know, you're going to have to go through Brock Lesnar, and then you know who's waiting for you? Me.
Me, yeah. So he knew that he was fighting Brock at that Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of feels that way, and I don't know whether this is WWE/Vince McMahon's idea or not, but I'm sure Roman will get a crowd pop when he wins in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
If he wins in Saudi Arabia. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. But, yeah, I don't know. I definitely didn't hate this match as much as you did. You know, even seeing it now and seeing Brock destroy tables and throw pieces of the table at the announcers,
Yeah, I see it now. I could have done without it closing the show too. Like,
I think if this match would have been the co-main event, and you have this shock factor, and then you immediately go straight to Shinsuke and AJ, I think everything turns out better, personally. Because you have your shock factor, your fans are already happy that Roman's not closing the show and that Roman lost.
Yeah.
And then now you close the show, you give AJ and Shinsuke 10 extra minutes, because we didn't mention that match was only 20 minutes, 20 seconds, 20 seconds longer or shorter than the tag team with
longer than I thought.
With Triple H and Stephanie and Ronda and Kurt. And then Roman and Brock going, 15 minutes. Probably could have went 12 in the co-main event and have Roman kick out of 3 F5s and not 5. And everybody's happier in the end, I think. At least from my, perspective and point of view.
Yeah, no, I hear where you're coming from on that. I don't know. I don't have too much more to say about this, really. I'm all,
tapped out.
Yeah, I'm tapped out. I'm kind of sick of these two.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sick of Brock, but I think that's because I haven't gotten... when I came into it, I missed his comeback, and I like the part-time or stuff because to me it makes it feel more big-time when you finally do see something. I know I'm not in the majority of that, and I know I've mentioned that on other shows, but that's just my personal opinion. But other than that, I say, in my opinion...
Do you think...
I think this match was okay. They should have just... they should have just swapped him with Shinsuke and that, and it shouldn't have been the closer. But your final thoughts? Sorry. Not happy.
I'm at a loss for words. Those are my final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, dead air.
Like, I talked about it on the Hype Show. For me, what I look forward to in a WrestleMania main event is like something totally different, I guess, than what we get. But hey, it's a 7-hour show, so I don't know if what I wanted would have made sense either.
Exactly, yeah. And then we'll see what happens in Saudi Arabia in the cage match and going forward.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
With Backlash. I think Roman's going to win. I think he's going to get the pop that Vince wants in Saudi Arabia in front of a big crowd. And that'll be okay. And then we'll get Joe and Roman and whatever happens after that down the line. I don't think Joe's going to win off the bat either.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully maybe Roman turns heel in a fantasy world. And Daniel Bryan challenges Roman.
Yeah.
That, fantasy booking style. But that's all the WrestleMania matches wrapped up. I think, personally, we'll go back, I liked it. I will go back to our overall rating and kind of give you our thoughts after, 2 hours and 20 minutes almost of talking about the show. I think my rating personally, like I said 6.5, 7. I'm probably going to stick with my 7.
Yeah.
I liked this show more than most. It was a combination for me, though, because I'm a production guy. I'm not actually a production guy, but I mean in the sense that I like that stuff, and that's the kind of stuff I look for. You know what I mean? The set was gorgeous. I liked the blue lighting of the building. I'm more of an outdoor arena guy, and to me this felt big time in the indoor arena. It still felt really big.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The matches were good enough for me. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but sometimes Mania is more about the show than the actual matches, and the show, it's everything else. Like, it sounds stupid, but I just think for myself, it probably maybe just under met expectations, but almost met my expectations from what I was expecting. from this show.
The reason I'm changing my rating is because I wanted to ask you too. So, what's your favorite WrestleMania? Like 21, right?
21 is probably my favorite.
So what would you rate 21 like on a rating scale of 10? Like,
I would probably give 21 a 9.
A 9, right?
Or I don't want because if I say 10, then that's perfect, and I don't know if it's perfect. But part of the reason I love 21 so much is because it was the first one I saw live. Second is because I think of it as like a turning of the page. You had John Cena and Batista both winning for the first time.
It was still very good.
You know what I mean? They were still new. Eddie and Ray opening the show. I don't want to turn this into WrestleMania 21 talk, but Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels stealing the show. And then you still had some fun stuff with Stone Cold and Roddy Piper in the middle doing the Piper's Pit, and Akibono stuff was probably the low lights of the show. But overall, with the first Money in the Bank match, definitely better than this show. But
I don't want to be that fan who's like, yesteryear and I did this, why can't it be like this anymore? I'm not even looking at it from that standpoint. But when I think back to some of my more favorite WrestleManias, and even looking back to like last year, I would like, there wasn't like, when I look at all the list of matches here, like, the Charlotte and Asuka match I liked. I didn't love the AJ Nakamura match. I liked the Ronda Kurt stuff. I liked the Daniel Bryan. So there's maybe like 3 matches that I really liked. Like I thought there was a lot more, but I was still,
it could be done.
I was still interested.
They left some on the table.
Yeah, I was still interested in the show as a whole, watching it.
So what's your new rating? Because I know you had said like 6.5, probably closer to 6 before. Yeah, it's definitely, are you more closer to a 5 now?
Yeah, I'm definitely more closer to a 5. Like 4.5, 5.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere along those lines.
Somewhere in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's why we do this show, and I don't know, I hope...
Just because when I think of the quality of matches,
Yeah, no, I hope our opinions, people take something from what we've said and enjoy what we had to say about the shows, the highs and the lows, and let us know if anything, fantasy booking ideas, anything different or bad or good that you thought we said. And I definitely would watch this WrestleMania again. I think it's a good one. Definitely better than WrestleMania 32, which is another one I've seen live.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're going to compare WrestleManias, at least in the 4 that I've watched live.
Well, that might be a fucking...
I would rank...
or what? That's a pretty low rating.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if I would go that
if I were to quickly just rank the ones that I've seen since I've been back in 2015, 31, 32, 33, and 34, I would probably rank 31, 34, 33, and then 32. That's just a personal preference. I like the set of 33 better than all of them. The outdoor setting with the roller coasters and the thrill ride.
Yes, okay, yeah.
All that stuff was amazing, but that doesn't mean that I honestly like this show more than last year, personally. But 32 was horrible, and 31, well, it wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't, it didn't feel like a WrestleMania, aside from the fact that there was more fans than had ever been at a WrestleMania. And 31 to me was just a really good show with the Intercontinental Ladder match was really good, and Seth's cash-in was great. Randy and Seth at the beginning of the show was great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know. I think I like it a little higher, but that's what these shows are for, and we're meant to bounce back and forth and have ideas, and we will definitely see what the future holds for WWE with, the Superstar Shakeup coming Monday.
Yeah.
April, what will it be, the 16th, I think? April 16th, 2018 on Monday. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Thanks for checking out the show, guys. We appreciate it. Let us know what you thought of WrestleMania at PWLookBack on Twitter, Instagram, Pro Wrestling LookBack on YouTube. That's where you can find the shows. Facebook, I post some stuff on Facebook sometimes too. Probably not as much as all the other stuff, but we try and keep that going as well. The website, you can also get all the shows on the website, prowrestlinglookback.wordpress.com. My Twitter is at Salsa.
And my Twitter is at New School Money.
Don't forget to check out Zach's Twitter, ZJVY, at ZJVY, 93, and at MXKEXD for Mike. Check out them on Twitter as well. Give them a follow. And yeah, thanks for checking us out, guys. We really appreciate anybody that's listened this far into the show and all the way through. And stay tuned for more Pro Wrestling Look Back stuff in the future.
Get ready to shake it up.
yeah, Superstar Shakeup coming soon, and I'm Nick.
I'm Donovan. Stay classy.